Hello and welcome as we are back under the Saudi sun as the big guns have rolled into town for another Riyadh Rumble.
Joshua versus Ngannou. His earthquaking power shocked the world. The left fury floored.
Big shot from Ngannou.
Now back into the ring. He seeks to knock down and knock out. But AJ is...
Test in mixed martial arts. Oh, no! And that one landed!
Boxing fans, navigate through all the fights on the card and go round by round to relive the action you want to see, only with DAZN.
We make it official today, gents.
Yeah? It gets no bigger than this. Like, I'm buzzing. Just give me that first bell of the first fight now.
Let's get ready to rumble!
What a finish. Fantastic goal. For Barcelona.
Playing a Classic on Camp Nou means everything. Most of these players are Barcelona fans.
Fue increíble, la verdad.
It's Ronaldo!
He was born to be the phenomenon. In the space of 6 years, he'd gone from being a raw novice to going in with one of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
This is all about the fan zone, and we want everyone at home, don't we, to get involved. Scanning that QR code for our UK and US viewers, get involved. We want to know what you guys are thinking.
Just did this to that fight.
Utterly ruthless.
Boxing on DAZN, sponsored by William Hill. The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now! How do you like it? Off the shoulder. So aggressive, so focused. Look at these two guys. Still the undisputed champion of the world.
Hello and welcome as we're back under the Saudi sun as the big guns have rolled into town for another Riyadh Rumble.
Joshua versus Ngannou. His earthquaking power shocked the world. The left fury floored.
Big shot from Ngannou.
Now back into the ring. He seeks to knock down and knock out. But AJ is back. The pursuit of 3 times world champ is on. It's all to fight for in knockout chaos.
Yep, another explosive night of action coming your way from here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, which is fast becoming the new home of big-time boxing. And once again, it's all taking place right here in the magnificent Kingdom Arena. Look who's joined us as well, former 2-weight world champion David Hay and one of the best broadcasters on planet Earth, Mr. Ariel Helwani. Ariel, I want to start with you. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is incredible. We've done some arena fights together. This has to be the biggest indoor arena I've ever done a fight in.
Well, to be honest, and what an honor it is to be here with you and the entire team. I had major FOMO in October when you were here. I had major FOMO in December when you were here. I'm delighted to be here because I think this main event, Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou, is actually bigger than October 28th's main event. The stakes are bigger, everything feels bigger. And I'm not just saying that because I'm here. It just feels more important if you ask me.
Yeah, and it's great to have a former heavyweight world champion to go over that, right? I mean, the co-main and the main. I mean, the co-main could be a main anywhere else and is a main anywhere else.
It is, no doubt about it. You've got Zhang, the big monster southpaw from China. He's a wrecking machine. He really is. We saw what he done to Joe Joyce, who everybody knows has a granite 2 times. Once it wasn't a lucky thing. The second time he did it even better. But Joseph Parker on some beautiful form. After him getting bludgeoned by Joyce, he comes back and beats Wilder. You know, who would have thought it? I really didn't believe he had an opportunity to win that fight, but he ripped up the script and he put on a masterclass against Wilder. I had him winning every single round. So that fight, I'm really intrigued to see that one, how that one plays out.
Yeah, the last 12 to 18 months for Joseph Parker have been fantastic, as they have been for Anthony Joshua. The last 12 months for him have been incredible, right? 3 fights, 3 wins, change of trainer, which seems to have elevated his performances as well. AJ.
And that's part of the reason why I love this fight so much, because it's not just about the Francis story, which of course I'm super intrigued by. It's about the redemption story of one Anthony Joshua. I remember August of 2022 in this very country. He loses to Alexander Usyk for the 2nd time. He has what appears to be a mental breakdown, let's be honest. In the ring, he takes the belts, he throws them out of the ring. He's crying on the dais alongside Eddie Hearn. Everyone thought he was done. Your country thought he was done. They were kicking him while he was down. But what does he do? He's won 3 fights now in the last year. This will be his 4th in the last 11 months. He wins this fight. He's next in line for undisputed gold. Who would have predicted that back in August of 2022? So it's a beautiful story.
Yeah, and we just saw shots there of Anthony Joshua against Otto Volin, and that performance under Ben Davison, Lee Wiley, that new team, we're all hearing the same thing now. AJ is back to his best. I mean, you've seen AJ at his best. How close is he to that guy?
He's in the best condition he's been in. You know, with Davison as well in his corner, he's been patient. He's looking for the opportunity. He's setting traps. You can see him thinking in there. He's not rushing in. You know, when he got dropped by Ruiz, you know, it was because he wanted to get it over and done with. That's kind of it's not a world champion's mindset. You know, if you watch Lennox Lewis breaking people down, looking for the spots. And that's what he's doing now. With Otto Wallin, it was a pure classy performance. Didn't take any unnecessary shots, picked his moments, and when the shots present themselves, he was straight in there, landing those big shots, and it was a whitewash. He really controlled the action, and he's going to need that type of mindset against Ngannou. He doesn't want to stand holding his feet, swinging like he has done in the past when he got caught by Dylan White, you know, when he got dropped, you know, against Ruiz. That's the type of energy he doesn't need in a ring against a monster. One of the hardest punches, I'd say he's one of the hardest punches in boxing today. Wilder, obviously his punch is gone, looking at the Parker fight. So I'd say Ngannou is the biggest one-punch hitter, you know, putting down Tyson Fury as comfortably as he did in his first ever boxing match. He's only getting better.
It's funny you make that segue to Ngannou, and it was a perfect segue as well, and to the punching power, because it was supposed to be Deontay Wilder that AJ was supposed to fight right here. Ngannou steps up, and again, you look at that performance against Tyson Fury. I mean, you know the man so well, Ariel Helwani. You said he was going to do this. You said he was going to shock the world, so kudos to you. He did shock the world. Can he do it again?
The world. Yes, he can. First of all, he won that fight fair and square, not just the night. In my opinion, I scored it in his favor. The knockdown in the third was fantastic. And I thought that the boxing community didn't give him enough credit. Again, this man has been in 20 pro MMA fights. He's a former UFC heavyweight champion. He's been hit with knees, kicks, punches, elbows, all that 4-ounce gloves. He's been there before. And the one thing that I think people didn't give him enough credit for going into that fight on October 28th is he's fought on the biggest of stages. He wasn't overwhelmed by all of this. And if you know a bit about his backstory, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story now, what he has overcome just to get here, none of this is all gravy for him. This is all a walk in the park. This man fears no one. He fears nothing. And he's that darn close to fighting for undisputed gold if he does the business tonight.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch him throughout Fight Week. I think he's been fantastic. The way in which he's carried himself has been fantastic. Fight Week has been interesting. Let's remind you of what Fight Week's been like.
This is without a doubt one of the most dramatic heavyweight confrontations you'll see in. This is without a doubt one of the most dramatic heavyweight confrontations you'll see in many, many years.
He's a big man, big head, big body, and a big target. So I want to go out there and show everyone what I've been working on.
It's already written in the stars what's going to happen. I'm just going to follow my destiny.
The flaming, ferocious fist of Francis will finish Anthony Joshua.
We are going to fight in boxing rules, but what happened if he was just a free fight on MMA rules? I will smoke those guys. None of them can come to my backyard. I'll take 2 of them at once.
Official prediction, I deliver. I'm the postman.
You're the man.
I am the man. I'm Anthony Joshua.
Fight Week's been incredible, from start to finish, from the grand arrivals to yesterday, the press conference. I know you guys arrived late to Fight Week, but since you've been here, how good has it been? I'll start with you, David.
It's been amazing. The energy, everybody's pumped. You know, you've got the MMA guys, you've got the boxing guys, there's banter going between both sides, and everybody's in agreement. It's going to be exciting, and the likelihood of it hearing the final bell are slim. And that's what you want in a heavyweight clash.
Yeah, the star of the show has been Francis Ngannou, right? He's took on not just the whole boxing community, but he aimed straight at Tyson Fury as well. He's took aim at Anthony Joshua. We're seeing a Francis Ngannou that I didn't really see take the mic and do this in the UFC.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I've been here since Tuesday night. I mean,
you missed the day. I mean,
come on, you got here like one day before me.
You're part-time right
really. He's a lot more comfortable this time around. Even at the open workouts, right? Just like hitting the mitts, I felt like he was more comfortable in his skin as a boxer, doing the thing. And I love the fact that he continues to say, just remember, if we fought in a cage, I would beat all you guys. Now, I've seen some fans online say, oh, that's him just trying to like build in an excuse once he loses. No, I think that's Francis saying, I'm the alpha male. Yeah. Don't remember who's the man here. I'm coming into your world. You would never come into my world. I'll play by your rules here. I'll play Queensberry rules boxing. But just remember, I'm the true baddest man on the planet.
David, we saw, as we were watching the VT, the way you were smiling when you saw Francis Ngannou's physique.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a man that has a great physique as well. He's incredible, isn't he? 272 pounds of solid muscle.
I had a great physique until I saw his. Honestly, he's sculpted out of rock, and he's fast. He's agile for a big man. He can do it all. And what worries me for Anthony Joshua is if Ngannou's first ever attempt at boxing was a very, very close decision against Tyson Fury, in which I thought he won it, particularly with that knockdown. How much better is he going to be percentage-wise in his second fight? I know how good I was in my first fight, the nerves, I was rushing my work. The second fight, once that first one was out of the way, I was 50% better in my second fight. Would Tyson Fury have won the fight if Ngannou was 20, 30, 40% better? I don't think so. I don't think he would have lasted.
And more comfortable too,
and
right?
More comfortable. He understands the rules because although he's confident, how can you be confident in something you've never done before? But now he's done it. Now he understands. He's watched the tapes back. He knows what he needed to do in training to get the cardio right. He didn't know. Now he knows. He's had a whole training camp focused on AJ. AJ is now watching the tapes of the fight with Tyson Fury, and Tyson Fury is one of the most elusive heavyweights in terms of timing, slipping punches, riding. Anthony Joshua's defense in terms of slipping isn't as good as Tyson Fury.
I want to stop you. Save your good stuff. We've got hours. Save your good stuff. We've got hours to build up to this.
This is good stuff.
And you're scaring the AJ fans as well. Stop. I see what both of you are doing.
Try to keep it real.
Let's remind you of the fight card that we've got coming up. Obviously, we get things underway in just a couple of minutes. It is Andrei Nowitzki versus Watan Torres. Nowitzki, unbeaten Ukrainian. A lot of people saying could be the future of the heavyweight division. Ziad Al-Mayouth, the local guy now based in America, takes on the experienced Christian Lopez Flores. Tyson Fury's brother, Roman Fury, takes on Martin Suvak. And Jack McGann will take on Louis Green. Don't blink in that one. Both guys are promised knockouts. And then we move to the main event, which gets underway at 9 o'clock. Make sure you scan that QR code. You don't want to miss this. Justice Hooney takes on Kevin Lerena. Unbeaten Justice Hooney versus Kevin Lerena, whose mother passed away a couple of days ago. Testament to the strength of him. Mark Chamberlain will take on Gavin Gwynn. And then it's a big one. WBA 154-pound vacant strap up for grabs. Israel Madrimov takes on Madrimov Kurbanov. Ray Vargas versus Nick Fall for the WBC featherweight title. Then it comes to the big boys, Zhili Zhang versus Joseph Parker. Many people's pick for fight of the night. And then Anthony Joshua, former two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world, takes on former UFC champion Francis the Predator Ngannou. All right, let's cross over to your MC. They're all ready now. I can see them sitting ringside. It is Barry Jones, it is Darren Marker, but first, it's Mr. Mike Costello.
Thanks, Addy. And just as with David, these two fellas alongside me, world champions both, are really getting a buzz about tonight, and they can't help but get that excitement coming to an arena like this on a night like this. And picking up what Ariel and David were saying, and we saw the highlights there with the dateline, October the 28th last year, Fury against Ngannou. And just to pick up on that, David and Darren and Barry, October the 28th, if it was October the 27th, AJ against Ngannou would be ridiculed, but suddenly it's got a different complexion.
Yeah, it has, because he did shock the world. Even though he lost, and I disagree with the guys, I did think he genuinely lost, but it was very, very close. It still has to be the greatest debut in boxing history. To take the heavyweight champion of the world down to the wire in your first professional fight with no amateur experience, anything, it's a phenomenon. It really is. So we still don't know how good he is. There can be improvements, maybe there won't be, but even if there's not, the guy we saw then is still going to be all that Josh is going to be able to handle tonight. So he's one of those true athletes. So this fight has that intrigue because we've seen what he can do to what the majority of boxing fans think is the #1 heavyweight in the world, and that's Tyson Fury.
I know the guys on the stage there are getting the AJ fans a little worried, but I'm going to back up AJ here. He's the one with the pedigree. He's the one who's been doing this an awful long time. And I know that Ngannou's backstory is incredible. What he's been through and where he's got, it's remarkable. The debut you two talk about is incredible. It's what dreams are made of. One day there's going to be a film. But you have to remember, Anthony Joshua's been through an awful lot. He's suffered some real highs and some real lows, the good, the bad, the ugly, and he's come back. And Mike, I think, in that last fight against Otto Wallin, I think even before that, if you look at the knockout against Hellenius and then how he's followed that up against a brutal display against Wallin, it shows you that mentally he's in a good place. And with that pedigree behind him, it could be a long night for Ngannou.
And the chief support also in the heavyweight division on this night of knockout chaos. Shilei Zhang and Joseph Parker, and potentially both still improving, even though Zhang's 40 years of age.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, if you were to look at the card, you'd say this is the real 50-50 out of all of them. There's some really good matchups on there, some close fights where it's hard to pick them, but for me, this is the real 50-50. Zhong is on a great run of form, the two victories that he's had of late, and then obviously the Parker victory over Wilder, incredible. Not many picked that, so they're both extremely confident. That one's a cracker.
I disagree with you. I mean, not as it's been a cracking fight. I don't think it's 50-50. I'm big on Zhang. I really am. I think Parker's been fantastic. He's on a real roll, and he can box, and he deserves the opportunity. But Zhang is not Wilder. He can box. He's clever. He's been the Olympic silver medalist. He has slow feet but very fast hands, and he will punch when you come at him. I just think I can't see how Parker gets out of the way of that big right hook. I just cannot see it.
He's certainly the favourite. Barry, Darren, thanks for now.
Our commentary team are warmed up. Mr. Thomas Treiber's in the ring. We're ready to get our first fighters there as well. So let's head over to your MC for tonight, Mr. Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, we get things started in the heavyweight division. Let's first welcome to the ring, Juan Torres.
So on this night billed as Knockout Chaos, it's the heavyweights that get us underway here, and this is Juan Torres from Texas in the United States. Big night for him at the age of 37, turned professional relatively late at the age of 31, but has a wide range of experience in combat sports. And was looking like a man for the occasion during the various set-piece events during fight week. And talked about taking the fight to his opponent here tonight, Andriy Novitsky.
And now let's welcome to the ring the undefeated Andriy Rampage Novitsky.
A purposeful walk interview for 28-year-old Andriy Novitsky. In the Ukrainian national colours, waving the flag for the country that's been so influential in the heavyweight division across the last 2.5 decades. With the successes of the Klitschko brothers, Vladimir and Vitaly, and of course the man who will be in this very arena in 10 weeks' time for the undisputed championship contest, Alexander Usyk. Novitsky at the very early stages of his career, attempting to follow in that illustrious pathway.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Knockout Chaos, a great night of World Championship Boxing live from Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is being brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing in conjunction with Riyadh Season, National Event Center, the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Gold Star Promotions, Gimmick, and Sella. We would first like to extend a big thank you to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey Al Sheikh. Ladies and gentlemen, we get things started with 8 rounds scheduled, and it is an international heavyweight contest. Brought to you in association with Boston Boxing Promotions. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge Robin Smith, timekeeper Joseph Brannan. When the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Victor Laughlin of Scotland. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner. He comes to the ring wearing purple and green and weighed in officially at 255.6 pounds. Coming to us from Cypress, Texas, USA, he brings a professional record consisting of 11 wins, 5 defeats, 1 draw, with 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Juan Torres. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing light blue trunks with gold and weighed in at 239.4 pounds. A native of Odessa, Ukraine, he is now fighting out of Los Angeles, California, USA, and brings an undefeated record of 9 wins, 8 of his 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Andrei Rampage Nowitzki.
Come on. Okay, you know the rules. Remember, obey my commands at all time, defend yourselves at all time. God bless. Touch gloves.
Well, there was an image earlier in the week that went widespread online after the face-off between the 2 featherweights contesting a world title later on, Nick Ball and Ray Vargas, with Vargas being so much taller than Ball. But here, Nowitzki has an advantage over this man, Juan Torres, at the beginning of this schedule for 8 rounds in the heavyweight division. There's Victor Laughlin, the referee, waiting for all the furniture to be removed before we get underway here on this night of knockout chaos here in Riyadh. The Riyadh season, the heavyweight season continues. Andrei Nowitzki of Ukraine at the age of 28 in his 10th professional contest. Coming to the ring on the back of very little in the way of amateur experience, unlike those illustrious names that I mentioned earlier on, the Klitschko brothers and Alexander Usyk. So starting from a very different base.
Interesting fight this, Mike. Nowitzki, he's relaxed, he's calm, he's tall, he's rangy, and his record suggests he's a puncher. 8 knockouts and the 9 wins. He must be, because the reason I say that is it never looks like he loads up with the shots. He just kind of puts the shots there and he does the damage. But Torres, his game, offensively, he's very good. He works the body well, and you can see the difference in height. So I think that may be a good game plan for Torres, to work the body, try and slow down Nowitzki, but there are gaps defensively.
I think Nowitzki, he understands his distance. I think that's his judgment. Distance is really good. You know, so he's a tall fighter, but he doesn't step in too close. As you can see there with the jab, he doesn't take that front foot too close and have to overreach with shots. He knows where he gets that judgment very well, very early, and he just pops that jab. And then if you've got to take a step forward, he can just take a little half step with that back foot and fire that right hand right down the middle. There it is.
Terrific shot, well read by Barry Jones, alongside me also Darren Barker, world champions both. That's the ultimate aim for Andrei Nowitzki, who lands another beautiful left-right combination in the centre of the ring.
Torres got to, you know, he's shorter, you got to get lower, and you got to start rolling. Make Nowitzki look for the target. No, he's right in front of him. He's a target to hit. He hasn't got to go looking for it. He knows where it is. You've got to make him look for you. Bob and weave with that head, roll, bend your knees a little bit.
That was nice. Little step back, made Torres fall short. I think it will, like you said, Barry, the feet are brilliant. I think he'll do that more. And I like the way he's moving to his left a lot, away from the left hand of Torres. He does vary that as well. And there was a little adjustment I see a moment ago from Torres. He just brought his right foot across just to try and stop that movement. But in cruise control here, Nowitzki.
But making that just with your feet, you've got to get closer to make it pay. Otherwise, you're doing it so far out, he's so big, he'll reach anyway. You've got to get the foot on the outside, but you've got to be matching with, like opposite the other foot, parallel with your opponent's front foot.
Torres did say at the press conference here earlier in the week that he was going to attempt to break Nowitzki down with body shots. So far, his focus has been pretty much entirely on trying to avoid that long, loping left jab of the Ukrainian.
Вот, блядь, быстрее вот. На голову ложи ему, Али.
It was a controlled start from Nowitzki. Nice and composed, moving side to side, picking out the shots, dominating behind that lead jab. And like you said, Barry, brilliant footwork.
Patience.
Yeah.
You know, he always got the advantage of reach and height and technical ability, which is like he's found that out anyway, even though he guessed he had it. So he doesn't have to rush his work. He can just force Torres to make a mistake, keep pushing him back, making him be reactive, which is physically harder to do. Just tire him out a little bit before he's ready to let that bullet of a right hand go.
Into the second round, it's scheduled to go 8. Nowitzki in his second year in the professional ranks now at the age of 28 and has made a lively start. 9 fights in that first year. Half the total that a certain Mike Tyson managed in his first year as a pro. All of his finished inside the distance. Nowitzki's been taken the full 4 rounds in his case, just the once.
It's the feet. We just see a passage of play there, and it's exactly just proves the point that we've said in that first round and the problems that are for Torres. He just can't get close. He just doesn't have the speed of foot to get close to Nowitzki, who is just dominating here. He's in full control, Barry, just because of these feet.
But he has to make Nowitzki throw the jab when he doesn't want to. He's allowing Nowitzki to set up his attacks. I think he's trying to lean back a little bit on that back foot, try and make him miss. But it's hard to counter when you're leaning over your back foot. And as we see there, you throw in, he's already moved away. You've got to move too fast. You've got to put your chest over your front knees and try and bob and weave that way. So force him to throw the jab and slip inside it. It's a brave to do it, but that's the only way he's going to try and win
roll
the
the dice, and roll the dice as well. When Nowitzki lands, you know you're in range. I know he's got a reach advantage, but you're going to be as close as possible there to land your own shot.
But I would also say he's kept relatively safe. He's taken punches, but nothing's been massively heavy as yet. But you've just got a feeling that might be coming.
Again, watching back some of Nowitzki's work, given his height, 6'6", and relatively in the heavyweight division, he's not afraid to go to the body.
A good variation. His arsenal's very good. I like the straight shots. I like what he does there because you just keeping Torres at bay there. They're also hurtful shots, but no need to hook. Certainly up close with Torres. You can do that as the rounds progress, but yeah, he's looking very comfortable, composed. He looks like someone who has a wealth of amateur experience.
But what you said, Mike, I think body shots are slowly coming back in the heavyweight division. They've seen the period there where no one threw them, didn't they? It was all just about big right hands, left hooks to the head, but now they seem to be reintroducing themselves, like the good old days of the 90s when Riddick Bowe would throw uppercuts and hooks. And
that's a shot. I'm surprised we've not seen Nowitzki throw yet, the uppercut. He's short of Torres, but he does lean back on the shot, Barry.
That's why he's not leaning forward to invite the shot, is he? But I like the patience in Nowitzki. There's no rush. He could force the pace a bit more. That's a good right hand.
Did that hurt, or was he off balance? He steps forward into the fray. Torres already breathing heavily on his way back to the corner at the end of the second round. This scheduled to go 8.
I've been impressed with the start. I'm sure you have, Barry, as well. I mean, the footwork, he's just not put anything wrong, has he, really?
I like the patience in it, because he's just throwing long shots, and we see now Torres is taking those shots continuously and making you a reactive fighter, slows you down and tires you out, and he's just doing that. It's 2 rounds in already, and Torres he's had no success. So you don't get that mental rush, that adrenaline rush, that like, no, I'm hitting the target, I might get some more success if I keep pushing forward. He needs to be more assertive, he needs to take a leap of faith here, Torres. But at the minute, Nowitzki's wearing him down, and his patience so far is fantastic, I feel.
Nowitzki then in the blue and yellow of the Ukrainian national flag under the guidance of his countryman, the former pro light heavy and cruiserweight Anatoly Dudchenko in the corner. Guy looking for that straight right hand that's been so successful for him across the first couple of minutes, as has that left hand lead, making full use of his height advantage.
I'd like to see Nowitzki throw a double right hand. He lands with it, even if he doesn't move his feet forward, just throw it again. He got the range and the distance.
Or even the double jab right hand. He needs to bring the feet in, just because every time Torres looks to defend, he leans back, the chin comes higher. He can bring the left hook into play as well, and he did look very dejected in that corner, feeling sorry for himself, and looks like he's feeling the pace already. I mean, it's not electric, is it? But still, he's been made to miss.
He's just taking punches.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's walking on to an awful lot.
A good feed there again from Nowitzki. A little step back and a lovely combination.
And Torres definitely shaken both those shots, even though dragged to the canvas in the end. One to the head and one to the body. Accurate work again from Nowitzki.
And that's what I mean. I said at the top, he must be really heavy-handed, because it doesn't look like he's thrown them with any real power. That's a good overhand, right?
The difference with Nowitzki there, though, in that when the acceleration and the pace in his work, there's a different tempo to his punches. I think it just caught Torres by surprise.
Let it go, boys.
Just an attempt there to throw the uppercut that you were calling for.
He's starting to fall short now. He's trying to throw that jab, Torres, and that will make him open to the uppercut. The guard is a little wide.
Good move. It didn't quite come off there for Nowitzki. A little skip back and then come straight back with that right hand. That's the right idea.
He's just got to slowly go through the gears now, Nowitzki. He's definitely feeling the pace. That's a good right hand. Beautiful shot. Ooh.
Slick combination from Nowitzki, and Torres is down, shaking his head, badly hurt here. Will he beat the count? This will be desperately close, and the referee waves it off in the third round. It's another inside the distance victory for Ukraine's Andriy Nowitzki. 10 in a row now in the professional ranks in just over a year since fighting for pay. 9 of them inside the distance, and it looked inevitable pretty much from the first exchanges.
That was a very, very impressive performance. Look, I know there's going to be tougher tests, but Torres just didn't offer anything. He had no reply for the hand speed, the know-how, the footwork of Nowitzki, and I was saying he looked very heavy-handed. He loaded up with that right hand at the end, and there was no coming back for Torres. Very, very good performance.
I think what that was from Nowitzki is a disciplined professional performance. He knew he was in with a guy who he could beat, so he didn't want to take any silly risks, and why would you when you got whatever 6 inches on him? And he just used work behind the jab. Everything was nice and long. That right hand was nice and long as well. Never shorted anything up. Adjusted his feet all the time, to little steps back to make, when Torres did, in those rare occasions, try and be aggressive, to make him fall short, as you were talking about, Darren, in that round. And then the finish then was fantastic. Just, that right hand just over the top of that slightly low left hand. He didn't see it coming. Again, that acceleration of pace in your work, when you're a big guy like that, you don't have to load up.
Yeah. And as Darren was saying, the tests for sure will get tougher, but that's the first time that Juan Torres has been stopped in his professional career, beaten 5 times previously, but all of those were on points. Andrei Novitsky, the man who moved to the United States soon after the outbreak of the conflict in his native Ukraine, just over 2 years ago. And now making his way in the professional ranks. Let's get the official time then from Thomas Craig.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 2 minutes 43 seconds of round number 3. Our referee in charge, Victor Laughlin, reaches the count of 10. Therefore, your winner by way of knockout and still undefeated, Andrei Rampage Novitsky.
So that's 10 in a row then for Andrei Novitsky at the age of 28, steadily making progress, steadily improving after just over a year in the professional ranks. And as we've often said in these situations at ringside, Darren and Barry, it's not just what happens tonight, it's the experience of the fight week on a week like this, of this magnitude.
Yeah, huge moment. He's taken it all in his stride. He's enjoyed every second of it. And to be honest, he's backed up exactly what he promised us. Very good performance and one to watch for sure.
Yeah. He didn't make any mistakes, as we see here now. Everything was nice and long. Look at that's a lovely long right hand there. And again, the feet, as Darren was saying, the feet were fantastic. Never stepped too close to the target, so that Torres to hold on. And the finish, he didn't put any punch and power. I just think his accuracy, timing, you know, he adds a bit more speed in some of the shots. And that's on the back of the head, so that's an illegal shot. But let's forget about that right now.
But you can see the damage it's done.
No, but he was systematically beating him up and wearing him down, I think, without taking anything back. And again, I say it was a very disciplined display, because there was a guy who he should have beat, and he didn't take any risks. But the fight week that you were talking about, Mike, the build-up, that gives you that thirst to want to be a champion, to want to be on bigger, better stages. I boxed on Ben and Eubank in Old Trafford when I was 19, and after seeing that and the things around it, I thought, if I can get anywhere near this, it will have the time of my life. As you know yourself, Darren, being around that stuff.
Well, later tonight, it's Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou battling it out under the Saudi lights. And then we're back here in May when 2 undefeated heavyweights finally ride into Riyadh. And the town ain't big enough for 2 champions.
Live on DAZN worldwide May 18th. The fight of the century. Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Tyson Fury looks to reign as king of the division. But Alexander Usyk is undefeated and coming for the crown. For the first time in over 20 years, all the belts are on the line. Ring of Fire, live on DAZN worldwide, May 18th.
And look at all this, just a reminder of big fight nights coming your way nearly every week here on DAZN. Next week, we're back in Vegas as William Zepeda meets Maxie Hughes. The following weekend, it's Sheffield and the home of top prospect Dalton Smith. He's taking on Jose Zepeda. Then it's April and a final eliminator for the IBF Super Lightweight title between Richardson Hitchens and Gustavo Lemos, former winner over Lee Selby. And before the month ends, with that blockbuster of a rematch between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall in Leeds, all here on DAZN.
You know what I love about that Andrei Novitsky win? Look, we'll talk about the victory, but what I like more than anything is he just walked past and he almost stood there and just soaked it all in. Yeah. And look, there's no one in here yet. It's very early. It's the first fight on the card, but he's just so happy to be on a big card, and that's what it's about.
Yeah, he deserves it, and the performance he put forward tonight It was A1. He went out there, he relaxed. He didn't rush his work. It'd been so easy for a young man on a big stage like this to rush his work, to fall over and miss with loads of shots. He reminded me of a young Klitschko. He had that big, tall, rangy, he wasn't rushing his work, waiting for the guy to come into range. And Torres had no chance here whatsoever. Picking his shots, very loose, very relaxed, wasn't wasting any unnecessary energy. And he boxed as though he had a lot more experience than he did. You know, he's only had 10, this was his 10th fight.
Yeah.
Very calm, very cool, very collected, and turned it on when he needed to. Didn't take any unnecessary shots. And it was a punch-perfect performance, really.
And, you know, it kind of gives me chills, if I may, hearing Barry Jones say, yeah, when I was 19, I was on the Ben Eubank card at Old Trafford. Like, imagine just being able to say that. What a life, what a career. This young man will one day tell his kids, I was on the Ngannou Joshua card. It's pretty cool to see that come to fruition.
You know, I really like as well, very quickly on this one, is that he had 8 fights last year, 8. And it's his 2nd fight already this year. He wants to stay busy, he wants to stay active. And look, I spoke to his manager actually, and he said, we're trying to get on the May 18th card. Yeah. We're trying to get on the June 1st card. We want to get this kid out of there quickly, so we got a chance to be on that card. I like that, I like the energy.
He has the style where the better the opposition, the better he'll show. He didn't need to show that much tonight, but I believe there's a lot more in the tank. I think he can go through the gears if he has to, but it's going to take someone significantly better than Torres to bring that goodness out in him.
Yeah, that's the first fight on what is a mega card. The main event you guys know about, Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. It was supposed to be AJ versus Deontay Wilder, but as soon as they announced the Predator stepping in, things just got a bit better.
They spoke about this fight before.
He said, you all good, yeah?
I said, no, it's a gimmick fight. It's not something that I think is right. Now, that's the biggest challenge of my life.
Yeah, that is still here.
I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Yes, Francis.
I'm a boxer now. For my own legacy, I would do everything that's possible to take him down. If I wasn't in the fight, I would have been betting on AJ, but I'm in the fight, I'm betting on me.
Here we go again.
Francis Ngannou put the world heavyweight champion on his backside. Now, instead of just chasing money, he's going to be trying to chase greatness.
I believe AJ is going to be undisputed champion.
And in an instant, it's all over.
This big, dangerous heavyweight is back.
Boom.
Boxers can't compete in MMA, and for the most part, MMA fighters can't do well in boxing. But there's one guy who has proven that theory wrong, and if he can do it on the 8th of March, it will be one of the greatest stories in the history of combat sports.
The wolf is in the house.
It really is an intriguing time. Anthony Joshua is now facing a man that in their first ever professional bout pushed the lineal heavyweight champion to the brink and nearly caused one of the biggest upsets in not only boxing, in sport.
Please welcome the Predator, Francis Ngannou.
I've never known anybody to waltz into a sport and compete. It's never been done before. So now we take him very seriously.
Ngannou Fury was boxing versus MMA. But now it seems like the boxing community is adopting Francis, or at least accepting him. This fight, it is still MMA versus boxing, but it does feel a lot more like just, you know, a boxing match, which is tremendous, which is what Francis always wanted.
I'm 72 next month. I've never seen anything or been involved in anything like this in boxing. This is just brilliant, and if you're a boxing fan, you're in boxing heaven.
Anthony Joshua, he's different than Tyson Fury. He is always learning and trying to be a better heavyweight. I feel like right now with him losing to Usyk twice, everybody he fights, he feel like he has to get back to being the #1 guy because he was #1 guy.
I look at it as pure jeopardy for AJ. These big guys get in the ring, they throw bombs, one of them lands, it's all over.
You're fighting #1 and 3 back-to-back in your first boxing fights. That's crazy.
I always done crazy stuff. Are you not aware of it?
I'm aware.
It all comes to a nice conclusion here, and we're going to find out if Francis Ngannou can go one better and really upset the odds, or will this be a formality for Anthony Joshua in this glamorous, exciting fight?
Remember, 1 fight down, 9 to go. This is the prelim portion of the card. If you want to be involved, and I know you do at home with the main portion, which gets underway in about 2.5 hours' time, make sure you scan the QR code. You really don't want to miss what's coming here in Riyadh. Boxing's always a story of rags to riches, right? Hardships, having to come through something. Francis Ngannou's story is a bit more than that.
The Predator, Francis!
Wow, good left hook from Ngannou. Ngannou finding some big shots out of nowhere.
Still plenty of fight in the man from Cameroon. Big shot from Ngannou, who dances after his success.
Unbelievable scenes.
Break when I say break.
Oh, big shot from Ngannou, who dances after his success. And suddenly, we have a fight.
Wow, Tyson Fury down against Francis Ngannou. Unbelievable scenes.
Tyson Fury underestimated Francis and didn't do his homework, didn't look him up, and just kind of was like, oh, this is just a payday. I'm gonna beat this MMA fighter up. I don't think he took it seriously. And that's why he was able to shock Tyson Fury and put him on his back.
It really is amazing to see Francis, you know, in these big events with all this fanfare and all these eyes and all this attention on him, because you've got to imagine how far removed that is from his early life. From the beginning of Francis Ngannou's story, I mean, you know, he started from literally nothing, leaving Cameroon, trying to find a better life for himself, better opportunities, the arduous journey that he went on to find himself in France and to try and find a boxing gym to walk into.
This man has overcome so much. He's working in the sand mines in Cameroon for like $1 a day, and then he escapes and he's put in detention centers, and he almost dies multiple times because he's on a raft and he's in the middle of nowhere. He's in Morocco, and then he's in Spain, and then he makes it to France. Like, the idea that this guy is even here, thriving, now as one of the most famous athletes in the world, is unfathomable.
Yes, it was hard, not the good memories. I would say I'm grateful of the life that I had, of the path that I have, even though it was tough, but he led me here. But I wouldn't do it again if I was to choose it. I always loved movies, everything combat related. The first poster that I saw was a poster of Rambo in my dad's room. I think I was maybe 5 or 4, and now I'm like, wow. Dreaming for a sport already was a problem. We didn't have any example of somebody that has succeeded from doing sport like boxing. It was silly, according to people, even to dream about it. You should just focus on like being a good builder, or a good carpenter, or a good farmer. That's the limit. And now I'm like, man, yeah, but I'm not satisfied by that answer. The only reason why I ever thought of leaving Cameroon was to go somewhere to find an opportunity to box. If it wasn't about boxing, I wouldn't leave my country at all. Just driven by the dream.
He ends up in Paris and he's sleeping in a parking garage, and he finds a gym, and it just so happens to be an MMA gym and not a boxing gym. And the guys tell him like, yeah, great. I mean, like, look at that guy. Of course, I would love to train you, but I'm gonna train you in MMA.
Everybody around is just talking about MMA, the sport that they wrestle, they go to the ground. I want no business to do with MMA. I want boxing. But when I look back to the reason why I wanted to do boxing, I find the same element in MMA. The first fight was a tournament in Paris. Only thing that I get from that fight was 2 tickets, and it was €10 a ticket, so I gave it to a friend. Then 4 months after, in April 2014, I had another tournament. €2,000 was the price of that tournament.
Did you win?
Of course, I won.
Hey, come on! Hey, come on! Hey!
When I receive a call from the UFC, might not be what I wanted. I get something. I have to start somewhere.
He has world-ending power, the highlight reel nature of his knockouts, and we saw that all the way through his MMA career. Hit a bit of a struggle when he met Stipe Miocic.
That was the only fight that I really go to knock him out. He didn't go well. Then I went back and then have to deal with my demons at that moment. And then I looked for the first flight to Cameroon. I was feeling so low about myself, so bad. And then I went home and then I had a warm welcome. They are celebrating me. The energy in Cameroon was so positive. Then after that, I came back and I come back to my reality.
That was really where, for me, Ngannou turned the corner. And after the point where he regrouped, he just terrorized the division all the way to the belt.
All right, so this is gigantic news. This is massive news. Francis Ngannou is a quote-unquote free man, and it appears, at least for now, that his UFC career is over. And if you look at his story, you know that boxing is that big itch that he never got to scratch. That was the original dream.
People don't relinquish their heavyweight title in the UFC and venture into free agency without any idea of where they're going to go. And to be able to then step into heavyweight boxing on the platform that he did and do what he did, he turned the world upside down in that moment.
They scoffed at every single interview and move that he was making leading up to that point. And he gets the PFL deal and people are still scoffing. And then he gets the Tyson Fury fight and people are still scoffing. You guys not realize what this man has been through? His whole life has been following his dreams and overcoming the odds. And he prepares for the Fury fight, and what are they saying? You see that guy on the mitts? That's an amateur. He doesn't know what he's doing. This is gonna be embarrassing. Fury's gonna mop the floor with him. And then of course what happens? And even if you don't think he won the fight via the scorecards, he won the night. And now, everyone who was scoffing at him wants to be in business with him. You know, shout out to my friend Eddie Hearn. He was scoffing at him beforehand, and after that fight, he says, let's do the Ngannou-Joshua fight. I mean, how could you not smile? That's a beautiful thing.
It's my game. It's gonna end on my way as I decide. I just go out to have fun, and great things happen.
It's an incredible story, isn't it? I mean, again, I said at the top of that piece that boxing's always about hardships and rags to riches, but Ngannou's story just seems a bit more like a Rocky movie.
It's like a script from a movie, really. It's an unrealistic movie that if you'd watch it and played it out, having your first ever fight against heavyweight champion and winning it but knocking on points, you go, yeah, it's a Hollywood script.
Yeah, you're like, one second, you've gone a bit too far, script writers.
It doesn't work.
It's unrealistic. This isn't Disney. What are you doing? You're in there. You say quite a few good things about Francis Ngannou.
Well,
I actually thought my thing was better, a little handshake.
Yeah, no, that was nice.
That was
Although
nice
they cut you out of the frame.
Did they cut me out of the frame?
Yeah, it was weird.
Okay.
It was weird.
Okay, I don't know.
But I can't get, honestly, we could sit up here and talk about it for 3 hours, this story, and I don't think that's enough because there's so many different chapters. You could talk about the struggles in Cameroon. You could talk about the escape from Cameroon. You could talk about being homeless, living in a parking garage for a year in France. You could talk about him getting into MMA. Honestly, the part that I love the most is when he starts talking about boxing while in the UFC. 2017, 2019, he's talking about fighting in boxing. And everyone's just like, what? You're not even the best heavyweight in the UFC. You're crazy. All right, cool. He fights Stipe Miocic in Boston, loses his first title fight. Then he loses to Derek Lewis later that summer, and he was done. Everyone kicked him while he was down. Everyone said, this guy is a never was. Forget about a future contender, a never was. Builds himself back up, eventually wins the title, and then he really starts talking about fighting in boxing. But the craziest part about it all, he went into his last fight in January of 2022 against Cyril Gane on the last fight of his UFC contract. That never happens for a champion. They always lock you up. He said, I want to bet on myself. He tears his ACL before that fight. The doctor, they have it on camera, says to him, don't take this fight. There's too much at stake. He says, let me roll the dice. The UFC tried to sign him to a $5 million deal before that fight. He said, no, I'll take $600,000 to fight for the heavyweight title just because I want to believe in myself and be a free man. He wins the fight. He becomes a free agent. Everyone says he's crazy, and now look at him. Beat Tyson Fury on October 28th in my eyes, and he's a few minutes away, once this fight starts, from potentially beating AJ. I mean, it's just crazy. And I skipped a bunch of stops along the way there.
No, you did, and it is crazy. And, you know, when people started talking about him in boxing, it wasn't against Tyson Fury or AJ. It was some of the lower tier heavyweights.
Oh,
And
yeah.
no disrespect to those guys. It was those, because we need to see what you can do first. He said, no, give me the lineal heavyweight champion of the world. Give me number one. And now give me former unified heavyweight champion of the world, and Anthony Joshua. Honestly, David, an incredible story. Has he surprised you just how good a boxer he is? Because I feel like when he squared up against Tyson, Tyson was like, oh, what's this? No one showed me this part of the footage.
It was the fact that he switched southpaw. Not only is he having his first ever boxing match, amateur or professional, but within that he turns from his natural style, orthodox, to southpaw with his left hand forward, and was able to rest in that position. He said it in the post-fight press conference. He felt a little gassed and turned southpaw as Tyson didn't know what to do from the southpaw position. Quite interesting with the Usyk fight coming up being a southpaw, but he surprised me in so many different facets, that the engine that he had for such a big man to throw so many punches and to press the action against not any heavyweight, but the lineal heavyweight champion, 6'9", 265 pounds. He's a man mountain it, and he was able to push and pull and wrestle inside. The inside work is normally where Tyson Fury has a lot of his success. Nobody really talks about it, but when he gets into the clinches, he leans on you, he pushes, he roughs you around.
Couldn't do anything.
He couldn't do anything. He was manhandled. I've never seen him manhandled like that. But it really made a difference to Tyson Fury's energy bar. And when they separated, when that was Tyson Fury's opportunity to box long and do his thing, his energy bar was too low. He couldn't move his feet. He was kind of stuck in the mud. And that allowed Ngannou to win those rounds, on my card anyway.
What we've seen with a lot of MMA guys, especially guys that are known that they're going to fight strikers in MMA, is that they ask for boxers as sparring.
Yeah.
Has anyone asked to spar you? Have you sparred any MMA guys in your past?
Yeah, I used to spar quite a few different MMA fighters, and I always struggled with them. They always gave me the most problems because they didn't have a traditional style. They would turn southpaw. They'd turn southpaw, throw an overhand right, and then a right uppercut. Shots that you're not prepped for. When you're sparring with a seasoned professional, you're used to the angles that the punches come from. They come from a left, right hook. You get used to blocking it. But with an unorthodox mixed martial artist who's used to checking kicks and the weight's not on their back foot, it's on their front foot. It messes up your rhythm. So I understand how it could have been a bit awkward early for Tyson, but the fact that Ngannou was able to really get in the momentum, really start pushing, working the body, jabbing, he looked like a seasoned professional who'd had 20, 30 fights in there. You would never have known if you was to step away from the fight and watch that fight, not knowing who was who, you wouldn't believe in a million years one of the fighters is having his first ever fight.
And it is important to note, he has 20 MMA fights, so it's not like he's some TikToker off the street.
We're not doing
I
this
understand,
again.
I understand where you're coming from, but you know what's something so interesting? Off that point, I heard an interview with Ben Davison recently where he said, I studied his MMA fights in preparation for this. I think Ben is one of the best minds and trainers in the game.
No doubt,
I thought that was one of the mistakes that Tyson Fury's team didn't do going into their fight.
Overlooked it.
You got to look at that. You have footage. You could get some tendencies. Yes, I know it's not the same thing, but when he said that, I was like, these guys are ready. They're not taking him lightly. They're looking at the footage in the UFC. Very, very smart move on their part.
I asked Anthony Joshua a question about the fight coming up, just because he's very analytical. And the team he's got around him, Ben Davison, Lee Wiley, obviously are known for that. How do you prep for a guy that you've only seen for 10 rounds in a heavyweight ring? Like, where's the prep coming from?
They have enough. They have enough. The 10 rounds and plus the 20 fights, they have enough. And these guys are so smart. And yes, a lot of it is about AJ, right? I think the AJ that we're going to see, correct me if you guys feel otherwise, I feel like we're going to see the AJ reminiscent of the AJ that we saw in this country against Andy Ruiz in the rematch. Clinical, smart, doesn't have to do anything flashy, doesn't have to do anything spectacular, just get the W. Why? Because the W gets you to the undisputed title fight. Don't do anything crazy. He's going to be very smart, very guarded, use his boxing IQ.
He understands the repercussions for holding his feet too long, for trading left hooks for no reason. He doesn't need to trade hooks in this particular, because even if he does catch him, what's going to happen really? It's going to bounce off him in the early rounds.
I'm loving this little bromance you guys have got going on. Little bromance. I feel like I'm on the outside. I can't
we
get
can
in.
take it from here.
I can't get into this.
Here. We can take
I can't get into it.
I'm aware of the danger of Ngannou. I'm aware that Anthony Joshua knows what that is. He's not stupid. He's got a great team around him who really have done their homework. He's not going to be in there trading punch for punch like he's done in the past, because it'd be foolish for him. No, he's learned that lesson against Ruiz. Don't trade when you don't need to. Let's just win the fight clean and let's move on to the next big one. And tonight, hopefully, I want Anthony Joshua to win. It would look terrible for boxing if an MMA fighter comes over and beats Tyson Fury and beats. What does that say for boxing? What does that say for the heavyweight division? What does that say for all of the belts? It doesn't look good for boxing. No, I want boxing to win.
Oh, there you go. That's a bit more like it. We are in the magnificent Kingdom Arena, unlike any arena I've ever seen. I mean, look at the shots here. It's incredible. Boulevard City, Boulevard World. It's just incredible what they're doing here and what they've done in such a short space of time as well. And so much more is going to happen here in the next couple of years. Big concerts, obviously big football events with the Saudi Pro League. Snooker was here the other day. Ronnie O'Sullivan winning that tournament. So much happening in 2024 in Saudi and in years to come as well. Mike Costello and Darren Barker commentating on that Francis Ngannou Tyson Fury fight. Myself and Barry Jones were ringside. Guys, I want to throw it to you. Mike, I mean, how shocked were you at just how good a boxer Ngannou was that night?
Yeah, I think like everybody, we were blown away, Addy. And you heard on the playback a few moments ago, Darren saying when that left hand landed in the third round, wow. And I think that's a sound that would have reverberated all the way around the boxing world. And I think that's also the point at which the sniggering stopped about the status of Ngannou on a big fight night like that. But looking back now, more than 4 months on, Barry and Darren, what should we have learned? What have we learned from that night?
First of all, that Ngannou's a real threat. Now, I think you had to pick Tyson Fury as the favourite, and you had to thought that it was going to be an easy night for him. You've got a novice. Well, I know he's not a novice in fighting, but in the art of boxing, which is it's different enough to not be able to just cross over whenever you want to. It takes a special athlete, which he turned out to be. But so what we learn now is that whatever you think, he has real power. He has touch you, put you to sleep power. He didn't put Fury to sleep, but he didn't like he put lows on that left hook, and it dropped Fury, and he was in a little bit of trouble. And so that'll help Anthony Joshua. He knows he'll have to prepare. I think he prepares more diligently than Fury anyway, on the basis of that Fury has just natural ability and he can think off the cuff, where Joshua's more structured with his work. But still, all we know is that Ngannou is a real danger, and if you don't take it seriously, it could be lights out. One thing to those three guys up there, or two guys, not Addy, those other two guys, the former heavyweight champion of the world and the brilliant Ariel, is that Tyson Fury won the fight. No, he didn't. It was very close, but by the scoring rules, he won the fight. They're not having all this Ngannou won the fight. He might have won the occasion and the heart of the people, but he did not win that fight.
I agree with you, Barry.
Go on,
I agree
Daz,
with you.
thanks,
and going back to the fight, I was absolutely stunned in commentary, stunned. And I had to say out Francis Ngannou's name, because it wasn't a leading heavyweight that had knocked the lineal heavyweight champion down. It was this guy, his debut in boxing, that had floored Tyson Fury. I had to remind myself how extraordinary it was.
Thanks, guys.
All right, coming up next is Ziad Al-Mayouf, who did become the first Saudi fighter to win a professional fight when making his debut on the Joshua Usyk card back in August of 2022. The unbeaten 23-year-old is looking for win number 5 tonight as he once again steps out on the big stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue in the super lightweight division. Let's first welcome Christian Lopez Flores.
Well, this vastly experienced Mexican now living in Slovakia, makes his way to the ringside area. Familiar face on the British boxing scene. His last 21 contests have taken place somewhere in the United Kingdom, but he's won only one of those. Despite those statistics coming through to us on the fan zone, that perhaps an indication of the relative inexperience of the man who will be making his way to the ring very shortly, up against this man who's been a professional now for 10 years and more.
And now let's welcome to the ring the undefeated Ziad Zizo Al-Mayouth.
This young man at the age of 23 says that his story is about much more than his own personal success. Whatever heights he might reach in this sport of professional boxing. And according to those of you watching who are getting involved here tonight on the fan zone, this is pretty much a 50-50 encounter for Ziad Al-Mayouth. 18 months of professional. Says he's proud to fly the flag for Saudi Arabian boxing at a time when the kingdom is making such an impact, is having such an influence on the sport as a whole. Continuing here tonight with Knockout Chaos, and of course we're back here in 10 weeks' time for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. But for Ziad Al-Mayouth, for him, it's fight number 5 and looking to continue in the winning vein.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with 6 rounds scheduled, and it is an international super lightweight contest. Brought to you by Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing and Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions. In conjunction with Riyadh Season, National Events Center, the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Gold Star Promotions, Gimmick, and Sella. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Steward in Charge, Robin Smith, Timekeeper, Stuart Lithgow. When the bell rings, our referee in charge and scoring this contest will be Kieran McCann. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight, out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing white trunks with black and weighed in officially at 142 pounds. A native of Culiacan, Sinaloa, Mexico, he is now fighting out of Bratislava, Slovakia. He is a veteran of 51 professional bouts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Christian Lopez Flores. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing green, white, and gold, and weighed in officially at 144.4 pounds. Hailing from right here, Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, he is undefeated with 4 wins. 1 win coming by way of knockout. Here is Ziad Zizo Al-Mayouth.
Lads, listen up. You both know the rules. You will obey my commands at all times. When I tell you to break, break clean. Take a step back, throw no punches. Mind your heads in close, and most importantly, lads, protect yourself at all times. Shake hands.
Al-Mayouth has been a colourful presence during fight week at the workouts here and at the press conference. And now looking to build on his
Round one.
unbeaten start to his professional career. This is his 5th professional contest. In those green shorts depicting the colours of the flag of his native Saudi Arabia, but also that green colour also depicting his level of experience. Still so much to learn, but still so keen to be the flag bearer for his country in terms of professional boxing.
It's a nice start, isn't it, from Alamayouf there. Just doubling the jab, he's not rushing his work there, but he's to shorten that distance, he's just doubling and tripling up that left hand. That gets his feet a little bit closer then to let that right hand go with a little bit more purchase than usual.
Yeah, look, it was always baby steps with Alamayouf. You know, very hard to get, you know, the fights as an amateur here, and he's made some real sacrifices, but every fight he seems to have improved, and we're already seeing it here. Like you said, Barry, stepping in behind the shots, doubling up, tripling up the jab with real speed. The hand speed's there. I did write in my notes that he was guilty of bringing the chin high. It seems like he's got that tucked down a little bit, but he's in there with a tough nut.
Yeah, he sort of proved himself in more side on, hasn't he? So he's tucking his chin into his shoulder and having the right hand glove there just to protect the right side of his chin.
Yeah, I like that, really quick hands.
He just dipped the legs, didn't he, before he let the hands go?
Yeah, like you said, Barry, you can see there the side on defence is a lot better, just taking that left hook from Flores.
Alamayouf lives and trains in the United States under the guidance of Buddy McGirt in the corner here tonight. He says that when he was making his way through the ranks, he idolised the left jab of Buddy McGirt, and it was a dream of his that he finally came to be trained by the former world champion. Also in that corner tonight is Liverpool's Paul Smith.
He's also doing the right thing, Alamayouf, with the tempo of this fight. Someone like Flores, he's a tough cookie to break down. So you've got to keep the tempo high, and that's exactly what the local man's doing. Working really well, good variation, very good start.
I just like the little dip in his legs every now and again. It's like a feint, isn't it? Just makes Flores just readjust a little bit. This gives you a chance then just to take a little slide forward and let his hands go there. Alamayouf.
Wherever you've been, we've been. Wherever you go, we go. Every step, every wall, every climb, we always have your back.
Okay? Where's your mouthpiece? The high buckle. Huh? The other buckle. Hey, do me a favor now. Okay, when you get inside, keep your heads inside.
The Kingdom Arena.
From the outside.
And the ring in a slightly different position to when we were last here for the Day of Reckoning just before Christmas time. The ring tonight pretty much on the centre circle of the football pitch, which has long since been laid beneath us and is home to Al Hilal, leading the Saudi Pro League at the moment. You can see all of those matches here on DAZN as we move into the second round for Zizo in the green trunks in his 5th professional contest. And Buddy McGirt in the corner, asking him to follow up his successes with the left-hand jab by driving the right hand through afterwards.
The brilliant variation, it really is. He's not making many mistakes. The defence has tied it up. I like what he's doing here. Again, keeping the tempo high. The hand speed's been very impressive.
I think when he throws a double and triple jab, Flores clams up, so you've got an opportunity there. Just take a little slide to the right, and then let the right hand go over the left hand lead.
Yeah, you see it again there. Can even bring the uppercut into play once he's taken the step.
Flores, he's waiting, he's tensing up. You know, he knows it's coming. He's getting defensive mode, but to break that defence down, you've got to find the angle.
Impressive work rate here from Al Mayouf against a man who, as we heard from the MC, 35 defeats. 5 of those have come inside the distance. But by way of comparison, he's been beaten by Reece Mould, by Royston Barney-Smith, and by Ryan Garner over in the UK. But all of those were on points.
Yeah, look, there's going to be tougher tests. He is a tough nut, but you can only beat him in front of you. But I'm looking at Al Mayouf here and thinking, is he improving? And I have to say, this is the best so far. I know it's early, it's only the second round. I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, when you're a fighter like Al Mayouf, when you're learning on the job, so everything you do in the gym, you're trying to replicate in the ring, as we all are, but more so for someone like him. Yeah, you're not going to be boxing people who are going to give you a real competitive fight, but it's about the learning process, and I think I agree with that. I think he has improved in every fight, and he's more controlled here. It's a good right hand though there by Flores, but he's more controlled, calm, and he's looking for the target, letting his hands go, and that's important.
Even before, you know, like you say, it was a little right hand, it was an arm shot from Flores, but even just the know-how from Al Mayouf, he's starting to try and ride those shots, slip those shots, whereas before he was taking silly shots where he didn't need to, but now you're starting to see some ring IQ, some ring generalship. Loads more to learn, but he's improving, he's moving in the right direction. Again, this is where the tempo's important. You can see Flores, he's taken a couple of good shots from Al Mayouf. He's got used to the power, you could say. This is why the tempo, just keep that tempo high.
And the instructions in the corner from Buddy McGirt and from Paul Smith, like an echo, both asking for more work with the left-hand jab.
We love potatoes. So you can love Walkers. Walkers, Britain's most loved crisps.
Did you want one, love? Then it has to be. You're getting lazy now. Come on, just don't get lazy. Continue, pick up where you left off. You understand?
You can hear Buddy McGirt as you watch this replay just saying you're being a little bit lazy. I think that sort of echoes what you were saying, Dan, about just keeping that tempo quite high. And Buddy McGirt wants that from him. That's that little glancing right hand there from Flores. I see a little bit of ambition in his work, but I think Al Mayouf's just controlling the pace. But I think you're right, the corner are right, just to sustain those attacks now, that tempo. When you get him in the corner of the ropes, don't let him off the hook.
Into the third round then, this one scheduled to go 6. Darren, picking up on what you said about what you'd scribbled down in your notes about occasionally Al Mayouf is there to be hit at the end of his own exchanges, tends to, if not lose concentration, then almost admire his own work. I remember Oscar De La Hoya saying there's no need to stand there and take photographs.
Yeah, he still does it on occasions, but not as much as he used to. But that's something he'll have to work on, especially going through the levels in this sport. You know, opponents will suss that out. So he needs to be smart, keep learning the defense. I think always think that's the most important thing. Start with learning your defense. If they can't hit you, they can't win.
As soon as an opponent turns southpaw, for me, I always say, take that, unless they're real tricky, flighty fighters, take that step with the front foot, double up with that right hand every time. I don't think they're defensively as good. So when Flores turned there, Al Mayouf should have jumped right on him with that big right hand. He's doing well at Al Mayouf here, but I just think he's a little bit in and out in straight lines. I just think they just had a little step to throw the shot, and then it's going to be a massive turn, just a little quarter step, just to chop that right hand over the top.
I think putting a right hand on the end of that triple jab as well, you've done the heartbeat, you've backed your opponent onto the ropes, now let your big shot go.
And Lopez Flores, typical of somebody with his kind of record, knows how to look after himself, bringing the shoulders round, whether from the orthodox stance or the southpaw stance, and damage limitation.
Yeah, he is very tricky. You know, he sort of takes a couple of rounds just to suss out what Al-Mayouf or any of his past opponents are doing, and sort of knows how to survive. He knows what their strengths are and their weaknesses. He just manages to take the sting out of the shot. Just there, it took a long left hook from Al-Mayouf, but he's taking his feet out of range. But again, I like what I'm seeing. You know, this is another learning fight against a crafty opponent for Al-Mayouf.
Well, he threw the right hand to the body for the change there, Al-Mayouf, and then continued the combination with the left hook up. So there was a little bit more different look to his attacks. I think that's what he was saying in the corner as well. Like working that body more.
And even with that little straight right hand he threw to the body, then he can work back upstairs. I agree with Buddy McGurk there. Keep working that body, keep the tempo high, keep the body shots flowing, then the head shots will present themselves.
That's a good left hook to the body there, Al-Mayouf.
Working the body inside.
Well, we'll be back here in the Kingdom Arena in 10 weeks' time when this man takes on Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. And he was talking to Adi here earlier this week, saying how bad he performed by his own review against Francis Ngannou. And it will be fascinating to see how Anthony Joshua does against that same opponent here tonight. And we'll be talking to Tyson on our broadcast later on this evening as we continue the build-up on this night of knockout chaos to the main event, and Anthony Joshua against Francis Ngannou, the man who floored Tyson Fury in such sensational style in their meeting here back in October.
Let's go, baby. We can do this shit all night long, okay? Let's go. Seconds out. Stay relaxed.
So a test of a kind for Zizo, Ziad Al-Mayouf, just 23 years of age, and this is his 5th professional fight. How can he change the tempo, change the variety to bring himself an inside-the-distance victory? There haven't been too many inflicted on Christian Lopez Flores in his decade in the professional ranks so far. Over the course of the first 3 rounds, we've seen why with his defensive capabilities.
And the thing is, I don't think Al-Mayouf's a massive puncher here, so it's got to be the intelligence of the shot. Like maybe doubling up with that left hook to the body, or just a little change of angle to get a shot that Flores doesn't see, or as Darren's been saying, up the tempo and the work rate and wearing him down that way. But he's boxing okay, actually. It's a good little display.
Yeah, I think in these moments here when he's got Flores backed onto the ropes, a little shimmy shift to either side just to open up more opportunities. But he'll be learning that, you know, guys with that amateur pedigree, bundles of amateur fights behind them, they'll know how to manage fighters like this. But for Al-Mayouf, he's learning on the job, and he'll be able to look back at this fight and say, should have done this, should have done that. He's got a great team behind him, but I've said this before with Al-Mayouf, you know, a lot to learn, but a lot to work with.
Flores just sneaking the left hand there through.
Some of the dark arts as well. Flores is pushing him off with the elbow. He has to watch that, Al-Mayouf, because you can get unfortunate little nicks and cuts around the eyes. Nice little right hand well. Good work this from Flores.
That's the punch between all the damage there, isn't it? The left hand there from Al-Mayouf. Just picking up the punch for him here. This is where he needs to take that little step. Just open up that body for the left hook, and it just means Flores can't fire back, can't hold, can't turn you.
Slowed down a little bit, Al-Mayouf. I know he's settled into the contest, obviously keen to look good, but the work rate, he's just waiting a little bit before he mounts an attack. Someone like Flores, he'll welcome that.
And that left hand low, I mean, it clearly for him helps him relax, helps him flow as he lands that right hand over the top. But he is getting
the right hand. It's the right hand.
I have to say, over the top time and again.
It invites trouble, doesn't it, that low left hand? You have to have really good reflexes, natural vision, or got to be really side on and with that right hand, the left side of your chin.
Start listening a little bit more, yeah? Just jab and move. Jab, simple enough. You've done it.
Open. It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah? You've done it 50 odd times before, yeah? Here. As soon as you just stick behind your it's easy for you, isn't it?
Well, we saw Tyson Fury making his way into the arena. Here's the reason he's getting here so early. His brother Roman in action in our next contest here. Been drifting between the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions. His other brother Tommy also in the dressing room.
Corners, 10 seconds, corners.
He's been talking here this week also about that damage to the eye inflicted in sparring. That big showdown against
round 5.
Alexander Usyk was scheduled to have taken place in this very ring 3 weeks ago, but now put back to May the 18th. Be live again on DAZN pay-per-view. Couple of rounds to go here then in the continuing education of the first ever Saudi Arabian professional boxer, Ziad Al-Mayouf.
Yeah, the tempo's dropped a little bit from Al-Mayouf. I think he put quite a lot into those opening couple of rounds, looking to impress, and Flores has kind of figured him out to a degree, knows how to ride the shots, slip the shots, and there's some damage to the nose of Al-Mayouf. I think he's struggling to breathe a little, and I will agree with you, Mike, that lead left hand has invited shots from Flores. I think he's a big fan of the sport. He loves some of the old school fighters that fight that way, and I think he's tried to replicate them, but it needs to be sharp, like you said, Barry. You've got to be switched on, you've got to be razor sharp.
He's a little bit too squared as well, isn't it, to do that. But he's boxing fine. He's trying, to be fair, he's trying a few feints there, trying to draw Flores on. It's not working, but he's having a go. He's trying to try things out.
Sometimes, as you say, Darren and Barry, what works on YouTube doesn't work under the lights.
Yeah, you've got to find your own style. What's natural to you? But if you are going to adopt, another fighter's style, you've got to perfect it.
That's nice. He's just blocking with the right hand, throwing his left hand out there. It's a little bit of work. Good reactions there from Al-Mayouf.
I like the feint as well. Trying to draw the lead of Flores. Crafty though, I've said it time and time again. So tricky, he's not going to fall for that, but those feints will come in handy later on in his career for sure.
There's a bit of power in that left hook, isn't there, from Flores as well?
He's almost a jab short when he triples that jab up, because he gets Flores exactly where he wants him, and then Flores, he just kind of falls short and allows Flores to exit to his left. He takes one more, even half a step, then throws the right hand. Like I say, you've done the hard work. You've got your opponent where you want him. That's good work, right hand to the body. Left hook upstairs.
Just the jabs, he's put the jab out, come on.
He's not quite convincing with it. He's trying the feint, but he's sort of stamping down rather than in with the front foot, if that makes any sense.
He's too obvious with the feint. Yeah, it's not subtle, is it?
You've got to slide that front foot, haven't you? You've got to threaten with the front foot. So the thought, the idea is that he's just not quite, haven't quite got it right just yet. And that's why these fights are fun, of course. You fight a guy with no journeyman, we call him, because you get the rounds, you get the experience, you get to try things out that you're working on in that gym.
Because against someone like Flores, that's akin to saying, here it comes.
Yes.
Nice deep breath, let out slow. Let out slow. One more time.
Got it.
Yeah?
Last round, brother, yeah?
feeling okay?
Last round, touch gloves, yeah?
Last round. Easy
You probably got that round there. Straight shot, yeah, straight shot, nice, and the back, odd backhand, yeah. Just boom.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, just one boom.
Just stay off the ropes, though. When you get to the ropes, move, stay off the ropes, yeah.
Good.
Everything, okay? Okay.
Yeah. Keep breathing.
Corners, 10 seconds. Corners.
Set then for the sixth and final round. Al-Mayouf trying to drum up the support of the crowd, but as you saw there, not too many in at the moment. Here early on, the card just came up to 7:30 in the evening local time on a bill that will go deep into the early hours of the morning here in Riyadh.
Another good double jab. Just didn't throw the right hand afterwards, just missing that time, but that's what he needs to do. And let me tell you now, look, Al-Mayouf will not be the last man that Flores frustrates. He's made a trade out of it, he's made a living out of it, rather. And these are valuable rounds for Al-Mayouf, but like I said, there's a lot to work with. Hand speed, I've been impressed with. Still needs to tidy up defensively, but I've seen good variation as well. With a jab, up and down, the right hand to the body, work with the body now. A lot to like, a lot to work on.
I was thinking, what if he's double and trebling the jab and then throwing the right hand, but Flores is turning his body to the right, so the left shoulder's blocking most of it, and he can't get that right hand over the top. What if he double jabs, left hooks? You know what I mean? Even if he doesn't land, he gets Flores to turn his body square to land with that right hand. Don't tell him that.
But you're right though, instead of go looking for the shot,
I want the validation from yourself.
Just use the movement of Flores to help you find the openings. That's I mean, Flores has done there what I'd like to have seen Al-Mayouf do a bit more of, to skip round the target.
Right hand up, that's it. Right hand up.
Al-Mayouf beginning to breathe heavily as we go into this final minute of the sixth and final round. This has been a good workout for him and plenty to look back on and to learn from when they re-watch this, him and Buddy McGirt.
And to manage the distance of a fight. You know, he's gone out really, really quickly, and you can see him now, the pace has started to catch up with him a little bit. I know it's only a sixth round, a bit. Like we said before, it is a work in progress, the career of Al-Mayouf, but you do need to manage the rounds, especially against fighters like this.
There's positives to go from it as well. I think he has been busy. He's dictated the pace throughout. He hasn't taken too many. Maybe more than maybe he should have, but not too many. And he's continually trying to find different things out and how it works in the ring. And some things are working, and some things are not.
Like decent fighters over in the UK that we've seen taken the distance by Christian Lopez Flores, Reece Mould, Royston Barney Smith and Ryan Garner, so too this man here, Ziad Al-Mayouf, at the age of 23, the first ever professional boxer from the kingdom here in Saudi Arabia, in his fifth professional contest, and talking excitedly during fight week about how he hopes to be remembered as the first of many from here. The kingdom getting behind the very biggest fights in a number of divisions, principally the heavyweight division right now, but he hopes to create a real surge in interest in the locals here in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, well, look, we said it at the top. It's all about moving in the right direction, improving with every fight. Certainly in those first two rounds, he looked very, very good. I was really impressed with the hand speed, the variation, head, body, landing some big shots. There was better defensive skills shown from Al-Mayouf, but a lot to work on still. You know, he didn't manage the fight as far as the rounds were so well. The defensively gaps started to appear, but again, a step in the right direction, Barry.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 rounds of boxing, our referee in charge, Kieran McCann, scores this contest 60-54 for your winner from Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and still undefeated, Ziyad Zizo Al-Mayyouf.
So a workmanlike performance there from Ziyad Al-Mayyouf, but the reaction there tells you how much it means to him to be boxing here in his native Saudi Arabia. His 3rd fight here in the kingdom, the first time in this arena, as he takes the embrace there in the corner of Paul Smith. Buddy McGirt there just alongside Ziyad Al-Mayyouf, has been working most recently, as far as the Smith family are concerned, with Callum Smith. As they pose for photographs. A proud Saudi, was actually born in New York, was Al-Mayyouf. Raised in Egypt, lived there with his mum while his dad was traveling to and fro between there and here in Saudi Arabia on business. Al-Mayyouf now delighted with his night's work. Let's get his thoughts now. He's up there with Ariel Hilwan.
Are you happy with your performance?
As long as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is happy, I'm happy. As long as I'm making history for the Kingdom, I'm making history for me. This is what I love to do, and when you do what you love, you're always happy. But I want to kick things off by thanking the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman, and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, for empowering me and giving me the opportunity to carry our flag. And of course, President of the General Entertainment Authority, who is now the #1 most influential figure in boxing, His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh. This is what we do, Saudi Arabia! And I'll do it again and again and again. Put him in front of me, and they'll never stand in front of me again. I love you, Saudi Arabia. And I'll see you at the next one, inshallah. Alhamdulillah.
Could I ask, you are flying the flag for Saudi Arabia in boxing. You are the guy. Do you feel nerves, pressure when you fight here as opposed to outside of the country?
Of course, but with that much pressure comes so much privilege, and I have to expect these emotions to be able to deal with them. I can't expect to be on the biggest cards of the year, the biggest cards of history. I can't expect to represent the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in front of all these people and not expect the pressure to come with it. So when you expect emotions, you can deal with them perfectly, and that's what I love to do.
I saw you had a nice embrace with your head trainer, the legendary Buddy McGirt. What did he say to you after the fight?
Listen, Buddy McGirt has the PlayStation controller, and I'm the video game. He presses buttons, and I do as follow. What he says, I do. If I don't do it, I don't win.
Shukran. Salam alaikum. Congratulations.
Thank you, and for everybody coming to Saudi Arabia, welcome to Saudi Arabia, baby!
Guys, back to you.
Local interest then as we build towards the main event, and here, Darren and Barry, your review of what we've just seen.
Yeah, I thought he came out in the first round really controlled. He had that side-on stance, that shoulder tucked in, that chin tucked into the shoulder, traveling up the jab, trying to just push Flores back. Couldn't quite get that right hand on target. Didn't really adjust the feet, but kept plugging away, just dictating the pace all the time. Flores, every now and again landing with a good left hook, see it there with the gum shield coming out. The odd right hand as well from Flores, but mainly it was Al-Mayyouf who controlled everything from the first bell to the last, Alan.
Yeah, just as he got a little tired, the gap started to appear defensively, but those first 2 rounds showed real improvements, and we see Buddy McGirt, they've got a good project, an exciting project in front of them.
Well, still 2 fights left here in the Kingdom Arena before our main show gets underway. Joshua against Ngannou, and the chief support, Zhile Zhang against Joseph Parker, plus 2 world title fights and plenty more. Quite simply, if you love boxing, you'll love DAZN.
Hey champ, I know why you're here. You're a born winner, the top dog. You have a proper punch on you. It only takes one, eh? But I know you're not all about throwing haymakers. You know your bobs from your wees, and you know DAZN's got over 100 live events every year. Over 100. Proper stat. All the action, the chaos, the comebacks, the non-stop knockout. Big fights every week. So get those gloves back on. Together, we're boxing royalty. DAZN, undisputed.
Star-studded cast we saw there, and the biggest fights coming your way every month here on DAZN. On April the 20th, we head to New York to see the unbeaten world champion Devin Haney defend his WBC super lightweight title against Ryan Garcia. And then on May the 18th, we're back here in Saudi as we find out who is the best heavyweight on the planet when Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk meet for all the belts.
So much pressure on young Ziad Al-Mayyouf, a lot of pressure on young Roman Fury. Yes. Obviously, look, got the Fury name, which does a couple of things here. Opens doors for you, I think he's acknowledged that, but also makes you the hunted. Everyone wants that Fury scalp. What do you do? This is only his full fight. He's now a heavyweight, former cruiserweight like yourself. He's starting to build up into a heavyweight now, though.
I think you should just go with it. If he's naturally filling out, don't try and bore yourself down. Let it flow naturally. He is a big family. His brother, his father, everybody's a unit in his family. So go with it. Don't bore yourself down. Let it flow. He's got that fighting blood, so it should come naturally to him. He's probably been fighting his whole life, maybe not in the ring, but probably sparring his brothers at home. And this is the opportunity. A lot of pressure, as you said, but the Fury's right to the pressure. So I'm looking forward to seeing his progression.
Yeah, let's see how he gets on. It's the third fight of the night. It is Roman Fury versus Martin Zwark. Thomas Treiber is in the ring, so let's throw it down to our MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue now in the heavyweight division. Let's welcome the undefeated Martin Zwark.
It's been the flavour of the night so far for some of the boxers here to sport their country's national colours, and likewise Martin Zwark with the red and the blue and the white of the Czech Republic. Walking to the ring with a fairly sparse professional record. 2 wins, one of them inside the distance. At the age of 29, a relative latecomer to the professional ranks. And those 2 wins on his record came against local opposition in the Czech Republic. And this a very, very different occasion here tonight, as it has been all week, and a real test for Martin Zwark long before he made his ring walk.
And now let's welcome the undefeated Roman Fury.
A family affair with Roman leading the way, and Tommy and Tyson and Dad John in the background supporting him all the way, as we saw earlier on this evening on the broadcast in the dressing room behind the scenes. Tyson Fury and Tommy Fury both have made their mark here in Saudi Arabia. Tommy Fury with that win against Jake Paul, when many fancied Jake Paul to get through on that particular occasion, and according to the fan zone, overwhelmingly in favour of Roman Fury here to make it 4 wins in a row in the professional ranks after 17 months since starting his career fighting for pay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 4 rounds, and it is an international heavyweight contest. Brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions and Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing. In conjunction with Riyadh Season, National Events Center, the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Gold Star Promotions, Gimmick, and Sella. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, steward in charge, Robin Smith, timekeeper, Joseph Brannon. When the bell rings, our referee in charge, and scoring this contest will be Kieran McCann. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing red trunks and weighed in officially at 225.6 pounds. Coming to us from Sternberg, Czech Republic, he brings an undefeated record with 2 wins. One of his 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Martin Sparge. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black, trimmed with gold, and weighed in officially at 224 pounds. Hailing from Salford, Manchester, England, he brings an undefeated record with 3 wins. One of his 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Roman Fury!
Right, boys, listen up. You both know the rules. You will obey my commands at all times. When I tell you to break, break cleanly. Take a step back, throw no punches. Mind your hands in close, and most importantly, lads, protect yourself at all times. Shake hands.
Plenty of interest then in the ongoing development of the latest of the Fighting Furies. Roman of that ilk at the age of 27. And barely 17 months into his professional career. It's fight number 4.
Round 1.
And Roman begins from his southpaw stance, his 4th professional contest, last time out on a Harlem Eubank undercard, more famous names. He won inside the distance for the first time in his professional career.
And yeah, you can see the similarities. You can see already that he's Tyson's brother. You see sort of the weight on the back foot. That's to creep forward. He can be very nimble on his feet when he's forced back. But there are gaps defensively, I will say. Sometimes he can be guilty of lunging in. But he's a work in progress.
Well, you'll get that when you are sat on that back foot. You know, when you want to react again, when you're making someone miss, when you're making them pay for that mistake, you sometimes have to reach too far yourself. But I thought his last performance was his best performance. Then he started to hold his feet a little bit more, show a bit more power, and it was a bit more of an improvement.
Roman's previous 3 opponents had lost more than 60 times between them, but then if we look back at the beginning of Tyson Fury's professional career, his first 4 opponents had lost a combined total of 54 between them. I know a lot of people don't like that about professional boxing, but that is often the way that prospects are built.
See the quick feet there, as soon as Spark went to mount an attack, straight out of range was Fury. There was a little shot that he threw. It was a nice left hand. He stepped to his left, which was probably not what Spark was expecting. You usually step to your right of your southpaw to try and get that left hand into play, but he went the other side and surprised Spark. It was a good shot.
Yeah, he's had a couple of successes with the left hand to the body in the first couple of minutes, has Roman Fury.
A few moments ago, though, we did throw a left hand to the body. He did get clipped on the temple with the left hook, and that's just minded to keep that right hand up when he does that. Or get a little bit lower when you throw that body shot.
Boxing well here, on the front foot predominantly. Variations, that's sloppy, doesn't need to be doing that. If the shot's not there, don't throw it. As soon as you see your opponent, move away. For your own safety, do not throw the shot.
On the front foot, with always a mind of being defensive, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like his older brother, of course.
Spark sometimes is off balance as he throws his own right hand, so potential for Roman Fury to time that as he launches forward.
That's a lovely left hand. Back comes Spark though.
It's the tea round that's bigger than you thought possible. To switching off and getting away from it all. It's a bigger space for that next step. Or just more room for a little one. It's turning your pastime into your full-time. And finding where you belong. It's making small choices that become part of something bigger. Together, we make the important things happen with finance that's right for you. Navuna.
Hey, let's see some more lateral moves, some more footwork. And don't go back to straight lines.
Yeah, composed, controlled start from Fury. Took a couple of silly shots that he didn't need to throw. He landed a lovely left hand, then he was guilty of admiring his own work. He got caught with a right hand. Brother Tyson, please.
Smoke corners. Get the stool down. Box.
Referee Kieran McCann waiting for the check corner to clear before he allows the resumption. Round 2 then scheduled for 4. And this in turn the 4th professional contest in the career of Roman Fury.
I think Spark got to just try and be a little bit more aggressive. When he lets his hands go, you know, Roman takes notes, you know.
It wouldn't be a bad option for Spark, I think, to double up with his right hand.
Yeah.
When he gets close, just got to be quick on those feet though. We've seen Roman Fury now starting to plant his feet. He'll take half a step back. He's trying to look for that counter now with the left hand. So it's important that Spark a bit more cute when he lets his hands go.
That's better there from Fury. Just a little, it was a subtle feint, but it was enough to let that left hand go with a little bit more freely, give him a little bit of rhythm. It wasn't like a feint to put Spark on a wave, just enough to give a little bit of a momentum.
Timed a nice left hand there, did Fury, as Spark again just launched in off balance when he throws that right hand, the Czech fighter.
Spark's he's got to engage his legs. He's got to just bend his knees a bit, get a little bit lower. And that'll make him a little bit faster because he will push off his legs, he's going to balls of his feet, and it'll make him a harder target to hit.
That's serving well, that counter punching. You can see he's far more effective when he's coming back with a counter of Fury. He can be a little clumsy when he's leading, but when he's avoiding the shot, firing back with a counter, that's his natural way of fighting. So it's then down to you to draw out the lead. Make your opponent throw so you can look for that counter.
Is now starting to have repeated success with that left hand is Fury as we head into the final 50 seconds of the second round.
And he fights at a decent tempo as well. When he's not throwing, he's feinting, he's making you think all the time. That's draining mentally and physically for your opponent.
He's just a little bit more accurate here, isn't he? The last sort of 30 seconds here, Fury. A little bit more intensity into it. It's not loads, but a little bit more. I think Spark's just starting to struggle for pace a bit here. He's not blowing exactly, but he's a bit of a lost figure in there, I think.
And you were touching on the Fury traits. They're clearly evident here, and not just Tyson, but almost like a southpaw Huey Fury as well.
Yeah, definitely. Spent a lot of time with each other. You can see that, rubbing off on each other, and that's not a bad thing at all.
Pot works. They just work. Crunchy. That works. Puffy. That works too. Ooh, and tasty. Now that really works. And never fried. Pop works. They just work.
Step back, bang, and bring the right hook in. Yeah? Just keep, don't get excited. Move it now.
We've been talking a lot so far tonight about the transition into boxing from MMA of Francis Ngannou, but this is a man who is a long way further down that road. Jack McGann talking this week at the press conference about how well training has gone in New Mexico in the United States, as he looks to appear on the biggest stage of his career so far. Into the second half of this contest then, round 3 scheduled for 4.
I'd have to agree with John Fury in the corner there, asking for his boy to take a step back and look for the uppercut. Throw the uppercut, then follow it with a hook. He's missed a couple of times. He has landed a few of the straight left hands, but he has missed with a couple. And when Spark comes forward, you can see there he does come over that front foot a little bit, and that does make you wide open to an uppercut. Let's see if he listened to his dad.
Got faster hands, in fact, better timing, better placement of his feet. Now's the time for him to let his punches go, I feel. You can feint your way in, do all this, be tricky, be sit on the back foot, but when you let your hands go, be precise with it, do it in 3s and 4s, and then don't do that jump back.
He's just not as comfortable leading, is he? Just wants Spark, but Spark's starting to let his hands go a little bit more in this round, so that will present openings for Fury. Just neglecting the jab as well.
Yeah.
More jabs, head, body. Vary that shot. You know, can even pour it out at times to use it as a feint to draw the opponent to throw shots.
Use the feint to be...
That was a good shot.
And follows up impressively as well.
There's a good right hook to the temple there, wasn't there, on that follow attack?
See now, he should be coming forward, letting his hands go. Still not 100% recovered, Spark.
Reinforcing that superiority. That's the test now for Fury.
But if you like to be a reactive fighter, rather than wait for the guy to throw, if you feint, use the feint as that instead of that. Substitute it with a feint and then throw.
Yeah, again, John Fury saying keep it tidy. I would agree with that. A little sloppy at times, but he did have an opportunity there to build on it, but it's a nice counter punching from Fury.
In fact, every time he attacks, he brings that back foot forward, squares himself up. He felt that there, Spark, I think.
Here's where we are. He's going to come at you now like a mad bull, but I want to see it tidy. Keep your shape. Keep the punches shorter. When you walk him on, shorter punches, because you catch him at the end of the shot, at the end, their arm punches. Set him up properly, nice shape. Here, look, touch, bang, right down the middle. All his touch,
nice
bang, right down the middle.
Looping left hook there from Fury. Again, just getting the faster hands.
Let's show some nice boxing now.
There's his big brother there, well happy with that, encouraging him.
Boxing nice.
He's doing well, he's winning the fight.
Keep it up now, it's going to be
A
dangerous.
little bit more we expect from him. I think there's a little bit more to give.
Nice one there. Touch
Yeah, I
up,
agree.
bang, bang. Yeah. Keep your hands up.
I guess it's a blessing and a curse having that surname. You know, you expect big things, but like we said at the top, he is a work in progress, a real novice of the sport. So we do have to be patient.
Yeah, we've seen the likes of Conor Benn carrying on the family name, Chris Eubank Jr. But those two in particular, generations apart. This man, Roman Fury, having to do it in the same era as his brothers.
Stark landed with a little right hand there.
He's got to shorten the shots up as well, Fury. Too wide with the shots. By the time Spark gets to him, the shots are almost round the side of the head. He needs to shorten the shots up, to sort of twist from the hip instead of winging the shots out wide.
When he rushes him, he squares up his feet. But because Fury takes a step and then leans over, he can't take another step to push off with that left hand. And that's what he needs to do. Again here now, he could be feinting and rattling off a nice fast 3-punch combination here. Keep it nice and long. You got a nice little long right hook. There's Roman Fury.
Yeah, learn that for sure. You can still be busy being a counter puncher, feinting, throw a shot, come back with two once you've missed your opponent's shot. I mean, that will all come, I'm sure. It does need to be busy, just waiting too much.
Looking for that bingo shot, trying to time that left hand as Spark makes his way in.
They're going crazy in the Czech corner. They really are, really trying to rally on Spark.
Good shot there from Fury. When he's on the ropes here, the way he leans over, he looks away from the target, and he got himself in a little bit of trouble a few seconds ago. Wasn't hurt, but got to take a couple of shots.
Blood now spreading beneath the nose of Spark, but the corner still urging him to press forward in this last half a minute or so.
I think Spark would have liked this to have been a 6-rounder. Starting to come on a bit stronger now. I think he feels that Fury's feeling the pace. The corner's going crazy in the Spark blue corner there. For sure, the Czech man's feeling the pace as well, but...
You just saw him glance up at the big screen there to see how long was left on the clock. Nice shot there from Roman Fury.
And almost the signature shot, the left hand, which was the most successful punch of the contest for Roman Fury, watched on by Tyson, will be in this very arena, in this very ring, on May the 18th, live on DAZN pay-per-view around the world. The undisputed heavyweight championship against Alexander Usyk.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a lot to like there, and there was a lot that he needs to work on, I feel, Fury. That you can't always wait for the shot to come out. I think sometimes you've got to grab the fight by the scruff of the neck and look to lead on occasions, or if you're not comfortable doing that, at least you've got to do something to try and draw out the lead of your opponent so you can look for the shot. But he showed good footwork, some good variation there. And for sure got another win.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of boxing, our referee in charge, Kieran McCann, scores this contest 39-37 for your winner and still undefeated, Roman Fury!
So applause from the Fury clan for the win for Roman, 27 years of age, 4 straight wins now in his professional career. Referee Kieran McCann deeming it worthy of the performance of Spark, but the Czech fighter won 1 of those 4 rounds, and very shortly we'll be getting the views of Roman talking to Ariel about that performance. Taking up boxing during the pandemic, started training alongside Tyson and Tommy, described himself back then as a 20-stone mess who's changed his life. Let's hear his thoughts on his latest performance with Ariel.
Thank you very much, guys. Here with the victorious Roman Fury, a very proud John Fury by his side as well. Roman, congratulations on another win for you. Tough vet out there, gave you a good battle. How would you assess your performance tonight?
Listen, I did very well. You know, every fight's a learning fight. This kid come to win. He's a big, strong lad, undefeated himself, young, so he's not like who the rest of these up-and-comers are facing. I'm getting hard learning fights, so I'm happy with it.
John, how would you assess your son's performance?
The first 2 rounds was lovely, but the learners, they're both kids, aren't they? You know, but what a strong kid. He come to win. He brought pride for his country. And they've landed some heavy artillery out there, you know, but for 2 novices on where he's at on his programme, he's never boxed amateur. He's on a massive show. He's got the big GK there. You know, the pressure's on this kid. Nobody knows how much pressure's on these boys when these enter the ring, because they want to impress him there, look. And I tell you what, Tyson, you can only be proud, can't you? 3-fight novice, never only been boxing a short time. But listen, I can only congratulate this young man as well. You've done your country proud.
Well done there, great scenes. I see your brother is very proud of you as well, Roman. You know, there's a lot that comes with the Fury name, right? And you have, you know, a lineage to follow. Do you feel that pressure at such a young age?
Of course there's pressure with the name, but listen, I'm enjoying life. From where I come from 2 years ago to where I'm at now, nobody in this world could have imagined it. I'm riding the wave. Thanks to His Excellency Turki El Sheikh for having me on. Thank you for my father for training me. And we roll on, I got the win, so I'm buzzing.
Does this all feel very surreal for you to be on a stage like this? And I know you want to give props to your team.
Yes, thanks to Rob and Brian, been there all this time by me. These ones I'm going to keep with, so big up. And thank you, Tyson, for coming and supporting me. Without him, none of this is possible to be, so big thanks to Tyson.
Yeah, just in conclusion, how surreal is all of this for you? You're fighting on this massive stage, on a massive card, with just 4 pro fights under your belt now.
I'm still waiting to wake up. I feel like I'm in a dream, so I'm going to keep dreaming until it goes. But on to the next one.
Well done. Congratulations. Up the Furies, right? Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Ariel. And this was the reaction of Tyson Fury to the win of his brother Roman. Applauding, I'm sure, not just the performance tonight, but what he's done with his life in the last couple of years in particular. Roman Fury winning for the 4th time in his professional career on this a massive night described by John Fury, and for sure a massive learning curve for Roman Fury. And remember, on this massive night, the main show kicks off at 9 p.m. here on DAZN when the big men come out to play.
Live on DAZN worldwide, Friday, March 8th. Joshua versus Ngannou. His earthquaking power shocked the world. Then left Fury floored.
Big shot from Ngannou.
Now back into the ring. He seeks to knock down and knock out. But AJ is back. The pursuit of 3 times world champ is on. It's all to fight for in knockout chaos. Live on DAZN worldwide, Friday, March 8th. Buy now at DAZN.com.
I know you very quickly want to say something about Roman Fury. Go on, floor's yours.
Yeah, I thought he boxed great. I thought he picked his shots. It was a perfect match for him at this stage in his career, where he had an opponent really coming to win, throwing big dangerous shots. He copped a couple, but it's a learning experience. He's only going to get better from those types of fights, so I'm looking forward to seeing the future.
Yeah, well done to him as well. A lot of pressure with that Fury name, but I thought very, very well in his 2nd heavyweight contest. Jack McGann versus Louis Green is up next. Jack McGann, very interesting story. Was a former MMA guy, right? Fought MMA, then moved on to boxing in 2018. What do you make of that transition? How difficult is that?
It's not that difficult for a well-rounded combat fighter, you know. There's a lot of punching in MMA. You know, I've seen fighters come from kickboxing, come from Muay Thai, and make the transition. Look at Ngannou, perfect example, having 1 fight against the very best. You know, Michael Venom Page, who fights in the UFC tomorrow. There's lots of fighters can do it. Some fighters start off in MMA and actually better at boxing. So it's interesting to see his progression as a boxer, but this should tell us a lot tonight.
Yeah, certainly will. Jack McGann as well, by the way, last time out on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, fought Roberto Duran Jr. And knocked him out.
Yeah.
So exactly. He can punch, he can crack
a legend,
as well.
The son of a literal legend in the game, and that shows you the trajectory he's on.
Yeah. What about the pressure though for fighters like this that are coming out that have only had a few fights and they're coming out to this kind of pressure, obviously a massive card. Do you thrive under that?
It makes you up a little bit? Makes you or breaks you. If you're the type of fighter who is going to make it in the big time, you're going to have to deal with the pressure at some stage. So better off to getting out of the way nice and early. For me, having an opportunity like this to come to Saudi Arabia on such a big card with the world watching you, this is your opportunity to shine. Some people, it's not for them. They like the small hall shows and they perform well there. But this is Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, not
it doesn't get any. It doesn't get any bigger than
that, David. I mean, look, you fought all over the world. I mean,
nowhere like this.
This is why I know you're itching to come back, David. Because I know you want a piece of this, David. You want to fight in the kingdom. But no, look, incredible arena, and it's funny because we're here 48 hours earlier. There was a football match being played right where we are standing right now, and they've transformed it into a boxing
arena. Earlier on today, you could see the turf underneath. Today, you could see it, and all of a sudden, it's a boxing arena. I don't know how they do it. They're very well organised over here, that's for sure.
By the way, the internet is going crazy at the moment because yesterday, I don't know if you were teasing me or not, David, but you was like, okay, you know, George Foreman won a heavyweight title at 45. I've still got a couple of years. Are you wanting to do that very quickly?
I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good. The abs are popping back. I'm feeling fresh.
I'm calling it now.
My Achilles is nice and healed, so we'll see.
Tony Bellew hint there as well. Jack McGann versus Louis Green is our next fight. Thomas Schreiber is in the ring. I can see him, so let's throw to your MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, knockout chaos continues with a super welterweight contest. Let's first welcome to the ring, Louis the Medway Mauler Green.
As Louis Green makes his way towards the ringside area here, this is likely to be very different to what we've seen so far here on the night of Knockout Chaos. So far it's been about prospects being tried early in their careers and continuing their respective stages of development. But here this is very much about winner takes all in terms of where they go on to in this super welterweight division. Don't forget, on the main show, we've got a world title fight in this 154-pound division with Israel Madrimov against Magomed Kurbanov. But here is Louis Green, the Medway Mauler, as he calls himself. Big fan of the Manasseh Mauler, Jack Dempsey, the world heavyweight champion of a century ago.
Let me see your gloves, Louis. How are you, mate? All right? Yeah, I'm good, dude. Good man, yeah, not bad, mate.
And now let's welcome the undefeated Jack the Pilgrim McGann.
Jack McGann making his way to the ringside area to the accompaniment of the Water Boys, and a song with the lyrics about some seeing only the crescent, others seeing the whole of the moon, and this man looking at the bigger picture, still making that transition from MMA, where he won 11 of his 16 contests, into the professional ranks. Been a pro now for around 6 years. But a big chunk of that was spent on the sidelines during the pandemic stages. And when the question was posed on the fan zone, the answer was fairly clear-cut. Pretty much 3-1 that McGann will win here tonight against Louis Green.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 10 rounds, and it is a eliminator for the WBC Silver Super Welterweight Championship. Brought to you by Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing and Frank Warren on behalf of Queensberry Promotions, in conjunction with Riyadh Season, National Event Center, the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Gold Star Promotions, Gimmick, and Sella. It is sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Steward in Charge Robin Smith, along with the World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor Hussein Wishi. Timekeeper is Stuart Lithgow. Our 3 judges assigned, scoring on a 10-point must system, will be Antonio Carrillo of the United States, Ray Danseco of the United States, and Victor Laughlin of Scotland. Our referee in charge, third man in the ring, will be Kieran McCann of England. Introducing to you first, fighting tonight out of the blue corner, he comes to the ring wearing black with green and weighed in officially at 153.2 pounds. Coming to us from Kent, England, he brings a professional record consisting of 16 wins, 4 defeats, with 10 of his 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Louis the Medway Mauler Green. And his opponent across the ring, fighting tonight out of the red corner. He comes to the ring wearing black with silver and weighed in officially at 153.4 pounds. Hailing from Liverpool, England, he is undefeated with 9 wins, 1 draw, 6 of his 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Jack the Pilgrim McGann.
Right, boys, you both had your instructions in the dressing room. You know what I expect. Keep the fight clean, obey my commands, and most importantly, protect yourself at all times. Shake hands.
Well, in that far corner, just leaving the ring, Martin Murray, former world title challenger. And to qualify for his boxing licence, Jack McGann had to spar 4 rounds with Martin Murray in front of British Boxing Board of Control officials to convince them he was worthy of a professional licence. And now he's 10 fights into his professional career and looking to push on against the man who last time out was outpointed over 12 rounds by Sam Gilley for the Commonwealth Super Welterweight title.
Right, I don't want to jinx it, but I just can't see how this fight won't deliver. When I look at it stylistically, you know, I'm sure the styles would gel. With Green, you know what you're going to get. He is a handful. He really is. He's just relentless. We see that in the Gilley fight, though we come off second best. And McGann, he's not afraid of planting his feet and letting big shots go.
Good shot there by Green. Just a little lazy left hand there from McGann.
And barely a minute in, and there's already a reddening of the face of McGann.
It's important for McGann not to panic under the pressure. You've got to try and stay calm, because this is going to be all night for you, as long as the fight lasts. And also, the management with the output, you've got to try and keep...
Oh! Tremendous right hand. A minute and 20 seconds gone in the opening round, and McGann is going to struggle to get to his feet here. And the referee will take some convincing.
Wow.
And he looks into the eyes of McGann, and whatever was predicted, nobody foresaw a first-round knockout finish in favour of Louis Green at the age of 31, on the back of a defeat, on the back of losing his Commonwealth title, and he has revived his career in quite stunning style.
Incredible. What a shot. I mean, I did think the fight was going to be unbelievable, but that right hand, something else.
Well, we thought we knew it was a massive step up for McGann. We were saying that all weekend. This is a real leap of faith here for him, because Green is tough. But if Green was going to win this fight, it was going to be wearing McGann down, and if anything, when it's starting him late or getting on points with a dominant display of strength. Not the one punch like that punch power that he showed there. That was absolutely fantastic.
I mean, it was an incredible shot, it really is. You see now, look, there's a lazy jab from McGann. You can't be throwing shots like that and not expect to be countered against somebody with the experience of Green. It was a lovely, well-delivered. Look where the head position is as well. He's just slipped inside the stance of McGann, and he's just thrown an absolutely 10 out of 10 right hand there.
He slipped inside the jab, a lazy jab again. He'd already landed with the right hand earlier with the same sort of shot that McGann threw. But in this time, he slid that front foot forward, took his head over to the left. That transfers all your weight over to the left-hand side. So when you throw that right hand, it gives so much torque, so much extra torque and power into that shot. And he was out for it. He was done. He bravely tried to get up, but he's unsteady on his legs, and the referee making the right choice there for McGann. But what a... Listen, we always say about these shows, these are the shows that you want to step up, make people remember things about you to get back on the next show. And Louis Green just did that there tonight.
And curiously, it's how McGann made his mark last time he was here with that stunning knockout win.
The irony.
Now he's on the wrong end of it.
Yes, honestly, remarkable scenes. I mean, if you're Sam Gilly at home, you must be thinking, wow, you know, I've just beaten this guy. This guy comes over here now, and he's just created a real name for himself. What a shot that was. And just before that, Mike, I was going to mention the graphic that they showed just before the ring, the percentage that they fancied McGann for, and what was it, 74%? And with the experience, the know-how that Green was bringing into this contest, that surprised me. And Green completely ripped that up. And what next for that man?
And is this an instance in which we have seen how difficult it can be to make the transition? How difficult Jack McGann has found it, moving up to take on this seasoned campaigner in Louis Green, who himself was coming off the back of a defeat. Lost his Commonwealth title at York Hall last October against Sam Gilly, who's now been nominated to fight for the British title. Plenty to come in the super welterweight division in Britain and beyond. Let's get the official time now from Thomas.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time. 1 minute, 29 seconds of round number 1. Our referee in charge, Kieran McCann, waves off the contest. Therefore, your winner by way of technical knockout and winner of the Eliminator for the WBC Silver Super Welterweight Championship, Louis the Medway Mauler Green.
Well, if only you could read the thoughts on the face of Jack McGann as the official time was being announced there. Louis Green at the age of 31. What a tremendous boost to his career. And it's easy to say now after the event, Darren, but actually Jack McGann from the start was looking under pressure. And I mentioned in commentary he already had a reddened face after a minute or so. We'll pick up on that in a moment. Darren, but let's get the thoughts of the winner, Louis Green, with Ariel.
Mike, thank you very much, Louis. Wow, unbelievable knockout, scintillating stuff. Did you expect that? Did you expect the fight to end so soon?
No, I thought it was going to go 10 hard rounds. That's what I said beforehand. I'm expecting a real banger. It's normally what I'm in from the get-go, so that's all I was expecting.
Obviously, last time out, tough night at the office for you. How was your confidence going into this fight, considering what happened in October?
Sky high. Nothing happened to me in October. I'm up for nominee. Me and Sam Gilly are going to get fighted in one of the fights of the year. Nothing happened to me. It was a close fight. And now I believe that man was mandatory for the British to fight Sam. So it looks like me and Sam are getting it on again. When I get back, I have to wait and see what gets signed up now. People want to see it.
Yeah, that should be a banger. You know, there was a lot of buzz, a lot of hype surrounding Jack, considering his story, considering how well he has done as a pro. Did you feel like you were being overlooked going into this fight?
Yeah, because every single person who mentioned me mentioned my 4 losses. But they don't mention the 16 wins before the 4 losses. With the 10 men I've knocked out some of the best men around, and in their back garden. I've won every title away from home. I beat Freddie Hewitt away from home, the Commonwealth, and defending it. Everything I've done has been away. So it was very it gets frustrating when you mention 4 people I've lost to. They're 4 really good boys, but I've beaten 16 really good boys as well also.
So would you say you entered the ring tonight maybe with a bit of a chip on your shoulder?
No, not a chip on my shoulder, but I'm just confident in I train hard. I give up work for this. I jump from job to job that fit around providing for my kids and being able to fight for a living. And for this one, I give up work completely to come here and put on a show, and I knew I was going to do it. I was confident all week. My brother, I'm not a betting man. My brother just won a couple of grand on me because he bet this round.
Well done to your brother. By the way, what is your day job right now?
Well, I was digging holes, fitting the water mains, and my pal George, who's sitting there in the slum we live in down in Carnation in Medway. There's going to be rammed with the beers when I get back, boys.
And now here you are on a stage like this, a scene like this. What has this experience been like for you here in Saudi Arabia?
Me and my dad come from nothing, absolutely nothing, just a working class background, and I was a bad kid. I was on my way to prison, and my dad saved me and stuck by me, and my dad's a postman. And my dad's here with me now, sharing all of this. I can't even put it into words how it feels.
What was the key to not going down that bad path, if you will, going down the path that you're on right now?
My first son when I was 16. I had a son when I was 16 years old, and I feel like I owe my life to him.
Where's your son right now?
Watching right now with my other son and my daughter.
I love it. What do you want to say to them back home watching you right now live?
I'm going to ring you in about 5 minutes, and I love you with all my heart.
When do you want to return? This was a quick one, obviously. Would you like to return relatively soon?
Yeah, I'll go again tonight if they paid me.
Well, maybe tonight you celebrate. Looking forward to your next one. Once again, congratulations, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Guys, back to you.
Tremendous performance then from Louis Green. And this then, the build-up to that dramatic finish.
Oh, I mean, it was incredible, Mike. It really was. He threatened it from the off, like Barry said. He had landed a similar right hand, but he got away with it, McGann, but he didn't that time. Look at the head position. Look where he's generated all that power from. He's just fully rotated through that right hand. That's experience there. That's the 16 wins that he was talking about, Mike, all in that one shot. I think he may have just become my favourite boxer with that story about the kids and giving up work. And I mean, this is what boxing is all about, the narratives, you know, coming off a defeat there. But when you leave it all in the ring, when you've got that kind of heart, that desire, that will to win, opportunities can come your way, and then it's down to you to go and take them. And that's exactly what Green has done this evening. And you can see what it means to him.
The rage and the fury of being overlooked, all delivered in that one single right hand, which has turned around the career of Louis Green. He said himself, everybody talks about the defeats, but now, with McGann having been nominated to face Sam Gilly for the vacant British title, surely now Louis Green takes that place and we can get set for the rematch between him and Gilly. The rematch of that cracking contest at York Hall last October, which Gilly won over 12 rounds. Huge fight potentially to come. And here, a big night still to come. And in May, it gets even bigger.
Live on DAZN worldwide, May 18th. The fight of the century. Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Tyson Fury looks to reign as king of the division. But Alexander Usyk is undefeated and coming for the crown. For the first time in over 20 years, all the belts are on the line. Ring of Fire, live on DAZN worldwide, May 18th.
I'm not quite sure how Louis Green would have predicted the win would have come tonight, but that surely would have been in his wildest dreams. Conor Benn joins us now. Barry Jones just run from commentary position. Barry, look, we said this was a big step up for Jack McGann, and it proved it.
Yeah, it really did. You know, we knew Green was going to put lots of pressure on McGann. It was how he coped with that. And even I fancied Green to win, but I thought it would be a wearing down process, not that shot. McGann threw a lazy jab early in the round and got caught with the right hand, not much on it. He threw it again, and this time Green slid his front foot forward, put his head over to the left, and then threw that right hand over the top. All that weight went right into that shot. It was a beautiful punch, probably the best punch he's thrown in his career, and he got the just rewards for it.
Conor, has Louis Green was doing the interview with Ari Helwani, you said a couple of things. You said tough man, working class man.
I've sparred with him before. So
those spars will be good.
You know what he brings to the table. He's a strong guy. He's hungry, you know, and he comes from a humble background. But, you know, he threw that right hand, dipped, he knew exactly what he was doing. He put pressure on him straight away from the get-go and done what he needed to do. That right hand was perfectly timed and perfectly positioned.
Yeah, we're seeing it now, pictures of it. I mean, it's just perfect, isn't it? I mean, you put every bit of force into that as well, don't you, Barry?
Yeah, you do, because you've seen it, because you're on about, you've got to shoot the jab from the shoulder. The jab's got to be fast. If it's a little bit slow, it'll come back low quite often, because you don't have the speed to bring it back. And he did it once, McGann, and he caught him Green the first time, touched him. But the second time, he just knew it. He slid that front foot in, and over he went. Everything went into that shot. He knew he was going to land. As soon as he came out, he didn't wait for the punch to come back. As it was coming out, he knew it was too slow, and he committed to it.
Yeah, that was the last fight, by the way, on the prelims. Main event will kick off in about half an hour, so make sure you scan the QR code. Make sure you don't miss what's coming up in about 30 minutes' time. I have to ask you, Conor, a lot of people have been messaging me. They saw your little face-off there with Manny Pacquiao, rivals. So idols become rivals. I love that title as well, by the way. Any announcements coming up potentially in the next couple of days?
Listen, we're out here in Riyadh here to enjoy the boxing tonight. You know, it happened to be me and Manny Pacquiao was there. You know, he's a legend, he's an icon. You know, there's levels to this game, and he's achieved everything any young fighter could want to achieve in the game. If the fight happens, I'm sure it'd be here in Saudi.
Yeah, I think it will be as well. Conor, look, you're going to be with us at 9 o'clock. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to do a bit of musical chairs now, because I'm hearing that Mike Costello is going to join us, Barry, and talk about the AJ story. And it is an incredible story, isn't it?
It really is. He doesn't get enough credit for it, actually. You know, he started boxing late. And just took to it like a Dr. Water, a world silver medalist, an Olympic gold medalist, still relative in amateur terms, a novice, let's be honest. And when he turned professional, he had the weight of the country on his shoulders. And he brought stadium boxing to the UK. So I've been around boxing a long time, and stadium fights were few and far between. And he made it a regular occurrence, and people forget that. No, your generation of boxing fans have been spoiled by all the big fights in the UK, and it's really been on the back of him.
Very ageist there, our generation. Incredible story is Anthony Joshua. It doesn't just start from the 2012 Olympics. It's before that. Here is the story of Mr. Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua! It's perfect balance, perfect execution. Brilliant right hand from Joshua. That hook from Joshua. Wonderful variety. Beautiful shot.
Oh, boy, he got caught with a 1-2 piece, and he's up against the ropes.
Oh, it's all over. Joshua's back.
And Victor Koschenkov scores it 116 to 112 for the winner by split decision. And still the unified heavyweight champion of the world from Ukraine, Alexander Usyk.
Even talking about it now, it just makes me feel like chokes up a bit. I wasn't supposed to lose in my head, and it just hurt the defeat.
I think he's really angry. I think he felt he won that fight tonight. I think he did all he could.
When you put everything into something, and what I gave wasn't enough, it's not easy. There's no silver medal in boxing. The only thing we get credit for is winning.
On that night, a second defeat by the same fighter, and I thought this might be the end of him at this highest level.
If we look back at his behaviour after the second fight against Alexander Usyk, when he was criticised for what he did in the ring with the belts and what he was saying, I think it's clear that it's been really difficult psychologically for Anthony Joshua.
How did you beat me? Let's do this. How?
It was a mad time for him because he's thinking, do I get back to the pinnacle of the heavyweight division? Why am I getting beat by a guy who's half my size?
After the aftermath, it's done. I lost, but I still have so much to gain. I came back to the UK for Christmas, and then early Jan, we ended up going to Dallas, Texas to meet with Derek James.
He's experienced absolutely everything the boxing can throw at you. He's had setbacks, the likes of the Andy Ruiz fight, now the Alexander Usyk fight. Everybody writes him off and says he's done. This lad is basically still a novice when it comes to boxing terms. I think he's had about 50 fights, 60 fights in his whole life. He's bypassed so many levels because of athletically, he's just so good. World Championship silver medalist, Olympic gold medalist, unified heavyweight champion. It's insane.
A peak AJ was probably the Vladimir Klitschko fight. It was phenomenal. Nearly ripped Vladimir Klitschko's head off with an uppercut. I think it's in the picture where the neck stretches about 3 foot. You look at Anthony Joshua there and you go, do you know what? After that fight, you pretty much ticked every box.
AJ's speed and development has gone so fast. He's always going to be playing catch up with the actual boxing experience because it's only them rounds of and years of being in the gym that allows you to gain that experience, and he's getting it now.
And now entering the arena, AJ Anthony Joshua!
The 3 performances of Joshua across 2023, I think signal that he's coming back to something like his best.
Good right hand behind it.
He was heavily criticised for his performance first time out against Jermaine Franklin in London, the tough American. I think that's a performance that might actually age well.
Good uppercut. Oh, tremendous left uppercut. Wonderful variety.
I always felt like stamina was one of the issues that I was facing. So, you know, for me personally, to go and get 12 rounds under my belt was really good. It gave me confidence that my stamina is improving and I'm ready to now let my hands go. And even if it goes 12 rounds, I have no worries.
Anthony Joshua!
He boxed really well, I thought, but he didn't show any improvement on his mindset, and that was to step in with the jab. And I've seen this to Joshua for all the time. The jab wins him the fight.
Obey my commands at all time. Defend yourselves at all time. God bless. Touch gloves. Robert
Helenius, who is a decent fighter, like Andy Ruiz back in 2019, is a decent fighter, but you think Joshua should have the better of him. But this new Joshua, who lacks a bit of confidence, Helenius being a giant himself, who knows? And he didn't box great.
It was a little tentative at times against Helenius. It was a little bit like, are we going to see another one of those performances?
Good jab to the body.
Helenius, late change, late replacement, completely different style. I think it was on the Friday of fight week or something like that. At first it was a bit, not challenging, but I had to download the information that Helenius was presenting me, and once I'd done that, I knew what I had to do.
The right hand that finished that fight against Helenius is what everyone had been waiting for. That was why everyone was there at the O2 that night.
And in an instant, it's all over.
The finish was great. And what was great about the finish, not that everyone goes about the punch, it was the commitment to the attack. And listening to Derek James, he jabbed up, jabbed down, took the step with the front foot, and he threw the right hand right through his head and knocked him spark out. And I thought, he believes he can do it now.
Anthony Joshua's fights of late have largely been built around the jabs. If there was ever an opponent for him to go back to being the seek and destroy fighter he was earlier in his career, it's Otto Ballin.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Last time out against Otto Wallin, and we see it again, this precise, accurate, hurtful punching. He's so exciting to watch. He's so hard to beat now. This is good boxing, really good stuff.
Yeah.
What motivated me the most, it was good because I had all my enemies in one room. Promoters that had come together that had trash talked me, journalists that had come together because they trash talked me, fighters had to come together that had trash talked me. So I was motivated to make my mark and stomp my ground that day, to let them know I'm the king of the heavyweight division.
That's that right hand to the body. It's a lovely shot.
Well, against Otto Wallin, he grabbed the fight by the scruff of the neck. He got straight to the centre of the ring and he backed up exactly what he was saying in the build-up. That he was going to bully, he was going to outgun, and he'd done that. After that Hellenius knockout, we would just see an Anthony Joshua back to the old mentality, style of fighting, if you like.
Oh, he got caught with a 1-2 piece, and he's up against the ropes.
It was the first time for a long time that I thought, yeah, this is Anthony Joshua. This is not the guy we've seen the last few years masquerading as Anthony Joshua. This is him. And I thought it was a fantastic performance from the first round to the finish.
He was just on that seek and destroy. I'm going to knock you out. I'm back. Confidence is there. Nobody's stopping me now. I'm levels above you. And it really, really turned some heads.
Oh, it's over. They've stopped the fight. Confident, powerful, sharp, everything was firing on all cylinders. Joshua's back.
I think what happened to him in 2023 has been a massive boost for his career.
As far as rebuilding is concerned and finding that old, to use that word again, AJ, with the seek and destroy mentality, I think it was a box ticked. It was a successful 2023, but he wasn't the only one.
Fantastic piece, it really is. And look, that went in on Anthony Joshua, but the story goes so much deeper. So we got two men here that know the story, not just from it as a pro, but covered him as an amateur as well, in Mike Costello and Barry Jones. Before we get to them, we're just over 20 minutes until the main card starts. You see that QR code, make sure you scan it. I mean, the action so far on the prelims has been fantastic. Main card is going to blow your heads off. It really is. It's going to be really good. Let's talk about Anthony Joshua, because almost feels sometimes, Mike, that he's disrespected a little bit, right? Stadium fights aren't the norm. He made them the norm. Big arena fights aren't the norm in terms of selling them out. He's done that for years. Where do you think that disrespect comes from?
I think in the end, because he has been so successful, there will always be those who want to look for the defects. That's just part of human nature. But I thought what he said there in that interview towards the end of that feature that we've just been watching was really interesting about when he was here against Otto Wallin and he saw so many people around and about who had been critical of him all the way down the years, and he said he wanted to put that right. And I thought during that fight week there was something of a comparison with Katie Taylor in fight week for her rematch against Chantel Cameron, where she was getting really tetchy with people that she'd known for a long time in the media and beyond. And it was almost as if Anthony Joshua had that same kind of attitude in his fight week, as if to say, this now is all about me. I'm no longer caring about what other people think of me, say about me. This is about me now, getting my career absolutely back on track. And I think he took that into the ring with him against Wallin, and we saw the result.
The story of most boxers is up and down, right? I mean, you win some, you lose some, there are highs and lows. AJ's story is no different than that. Where is he now? Where is this story? Where is the next chapter?
Well, peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
In life in general. He's on his way to a peak, I feel. It's still early days yet. There's only one real fight that was complete in I think with a real tick. The others were okay, and this was a real big tick.
The Otto Wallin fight.
Yeah, the Otto Wallin fight, the last one. So we need more than that. I think we need to see another one, another dominant performance tonight, I think, to say that he is on his way back to the top again. Talking about how he is as a person, he was criticised for being media trained, which he was. He was a fantastic role model, I thought. The Klitschko, after he beat Klitschko, the amazing fight, the speech itself was as good as the fight. Like we all, you wanted to go training, I wanted to go training. Every kid who boxed went to the gym the next morning, I guarantee it. It was awe-inspiring. But he got criticised. We don't get to see enough of Anthony Joshua. Now he's getting criticised for being himself. Because he's too street. I don't know what people want from him. But I think now, as you said, Mike, I think he's realised I can't please everybody. Well, I just got to please myself and be happy. And I think he seems to be at peace with himself. And I think that's not a bad place to be. At this stage of his career right now, where we might not have too long left, I think that's a good place for him to be right now.
It's interesting, you mentioned the time left. AJ is 33, obviously looks supreme athlete. So we hopefully get him for a few more years. But there is a conversation about, okay, how long left? What more do you need to achieve? What more can he achieve? Is it becoming undisputed? Is it the Fury fight? Is it the Alexander Usyk get back? What are the targets now for Anthony Joshua?
Well, one is the undisputed title, and if that comes along, then it might be another of his ambitions, which is to become a 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. What's always struck me about Anthony Joshua is how keen he is on making his mark in heavyweight history. I'll just give you an insight from my dealings with him. When he won the world title for the first time, beat Charles Martin in 2016, the next time I saw him, I just tapped him and said, "Great to see you, champ." And he said, "Don't call me champ. I'm not worthy of that recognition yet, having beaten Charles Martin." And that, he said, was because of where he stood in heavyweight history. After he beat Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley Stadium on that momentous night in 2017, I asked him, "Can we now call you champ?" He said, "Yes, now you can." When he boxed Andy Ruiz here, or not far from here, in Diriyah in December of 2019 and won the title for the second time, I was working for the BBC at the time, clambered up onto the ring apron after he'd won. Before I could ask a question, into the microphone he shouted, "2 time." And that was how much that meant to him. He's intensely aware of the history of this heavyweight division, which extends and appeals way beyond sport. And he's still got, he believes, another mark to make.
Yeah, but he needs to win tonight. That's the most important thing. Get the job done here, and then we can start talking about undisputed and 3-time heavyweight world champion. There's been so much discussion about how does Francis Ngannou win? How does Anthony Joshua win? Here's a bit of a breakdown on how Anthony Joshua could win tonight.
As he goes into this Francis Ngannou fight, I do think we'll see the best of Anthony Joshua. I think it's great that he's manoeuvred himself around trainers, because he'll pick bits up from all of them. I think he had an amazing trainer, Robert McCracken. I think he's experienced good times with Derek James.
I don't care how he won it, I just wanted him to win.
Now he's with Ben Davidson. Each and every trainer will offer him a little bit of something. You just want to see him now progress on.
I would like to see a bit more brute from AJ, and I do believe now with Ben Davidson we could see that.
More regular, short, sharp, change of tempo.
I can see during the rounds against Otto Wallin taking on board everything Ben Davidson's saying, and that's real trust.
Wow! Tyson Fury down against Francis Ngannou.
I think it's important for him to jump on Joshua early, try and really unsettle him, by any means necessary. Get close to Joshua, make him feel your strength. He made Joshua look skinny at the press conference. So if he can push him back and put a panic on him, Joshua might unravel.
Tiny advantage in height, but the depth of Ngannou is ridiculous.
He's a scary physical specimen, and of course AJ is as well, but I just don't think he's witnessed anybody that can move him around in the clinch like Ngannou's going to do.
Francis Ngannou's got to get as close to Anthony Joshua as he can and just hit anything.
There are so many different reasons why this fight could go south very, very quickly for AJ. He might get clipped with a big shot and feel his legs go all of a sudden, and if he hits the canvas, does he get back up and box clever like Fury does for the rest of the fight? I don't know as he does.
But there are vulnerabilities, and I feel somebody like Anthony Joshua will be able to make the most of those. He limped back an awful lot, and though he took the sting out of the shot from Tyson Fury, he was caught with a lot of right hands, and I feel AJ, what he does really well when he keeps things simple is brings his feet in, double jab, and then throws the right hand.
I expect AJ to win this fight through discipline, through educated pressure, through being smart and through being better, making Ngannou work.
Francis Ngannou is not faster than anyone he's faced, he's not stronger than anyone he's faced. The only difference with this man is his mindset's on a whole different level. When you look at his background, where he's come from, what he's done to get where he's got, he's a bit of an enigma. But I just think if Josh goes in there and lets his hands go, he gets rid of Ngannou in double quick time.
I feel like AJ's the perfect person for Ngannou to fight, because if he cracks him, he can hurt him. We've seen him hurt. If he hurts him, he's going to rattle him, and if he rattles him, you might not be able to recover from that. And he's not quite as tricky as Fury, right? He's not quite as elusive. He's a bit more stiff and a bit more rigid. His head is going to be a bit more easy to connect with for me. It's a much better fight for Ngannou, this one is.
This is what I'm interested in seeing. Ngannou up close.
At range, at arm's length, there's only one winner. He cannot beat Anthony Joshua at range. But for us, as spectators, that makes it very exciting. Because if he can get close to Anthony Joshua, you never know.
Less than 15 minutes to go until this Knockout Chaos main card. Make sure you scan the QR code. You can see it there in the top left-hand corner of the screen. We kick things off in the heavyweight division. Fantastic matchup, this one. Justice Hooney, unbeaten, takes on Kevin Larino, former IBO Cruiserweight champion, now campaigning as a heavyweight. In the lightweight division, Gavin Gwynn versus Mark Chamberlain. And then we move to the Battle of the Unbeatens, Israel Majimov versus Magomed Kurbanov. They fight for the vacant WBA Super Welterweight title. Ray Vargas takes on Nick Bull, WBC Featherweight title up for grabs in that one. And then the big boys, Zhili Zhang versus Joseph Parker. Two guys that have had fantastic last 12 months. Battle it out to potentially see who could take on the winner of our main event, which is Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. That there is a Knockout Chaos fantastic card. One man who's going to be keenly interested in all of this is Mr. Eddie Hearn, and he's ringside with Todd Grisham.
Thank you, Ade. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
All right, did you run your 5K this morning?
No, I've been doing a lot of work this week, so with all the pressure and the nerves,
yeah,
I thought it was best to rest today, Todd.
So you're slacking. Okay,
yeah.
I got it. All right, let's talk about what's on the line tonight in our main event for Ngannou. He can be, pressure-free. He can just go out there and fight, have fun. If he wins, that's great. If he loses, whatever. As for AJ, what does this mean to him, big picture?
Yeah, all the pressure is on Anthony Joshua. The expectation, what lies ahead, the potential undisputed fight, the respect of boxing, if you like, and I don't mean that critically to Francis Ngannou, but let's be honest, we can't be letting an MMA guy come in here and beat the elite guys. I felt like he did it against Tyson Fury. Tonight, we've got to put it right. AJ's got to be smart, disciplined, he's got to be destructive, but there will be some moments in this fight where we're biting our fingernails, we're looking through our fingers, because Ngannou, as I heard in that VT, the mindset of Francis Ngannou, he's not going to come in here to lay down. And when you hurt this guy, you've got to hurt him properly. I don't think that you can just one punch in the first or second round is going to end this. You've got to chip away till he goes over like an oak tree. And when he goes over, make sure he can't get up, because he will keep trying to get up.
We talked about the old AJ and the new AJ. You said he was back after Otto Wallin. Can he afford to be that kind of pressure fighter against Ngannou as he was against Wallin?
It's interesting, because I think you need to make the pace a little bit hot for Francis, because I think he will gas in the fight. You saw against Tyson Fury, there were times where I felt like he might empty the tank.
Yeah.
But because Fury got hurt, he didn't put the pressure on him. He didn't make him fight at pace. But when you do that, you have to put yourself in the danger zone. As Darren Barker said earlier, AJ can outbox Francis Ngannou really, really easily. Like, it's not even an issue. But when he gets close and when AJ lets his hands go, Francis will throw with him, as we saw from the Fury knockdown. And that is the danger, someone that's prepared to throw with you. And I go back to the likes of Andy Ruiz at Madison Square Garden. He was hurt, he was out of the fight, and he decided to trade leather when AJ was trying to finish him. So that's the beauty of the heavyweight division. It can turn on a sixpence, and Francis has the size and the power to hurt any man in the division.
Talking about the heavyweight division turning on its axis, what happens in our co-main event if Zhili Zhang comes in and destroys Joseph Parker? I mean, he's still floating around there. He's got obviously a massive fan base in China, a lot of hype behind him.
Yeah, and he's already in a big fight tonight, but victory against Parker would stake his claim for a shot at the world heavyweight title as well. He's already interim champion. I do think the victories over Joe Joyce did glamorize him a little bit, even though he's a talented fighter, great amateur pedigree, he's an Olympian.
Parker won't be that reckless.
No, I think Parker wins tonight. I think Joseph Parker wins this fight. It's on points. Again, if he can force the pressure, if he can make Zhang work, I think he could gas in the fight. We've seen it before in the likes of Jerry Forrest when he boxed on a Canelo card. He's a big guy. What was he, 291
pounds, yeah.
Like, to fight at pace for 12 rounds, that's tough work. And Joe has got that style. He's elusive. If Andy Lee can come up with a game plan, I've backed Joseph Parker to upset the odds tonight.
A couple of weeks ago, you were asked a question, which fighter of Frank Warren's would you like to maybe promote if you could? He said he wanted Bivol from you, but you said Nick Ball from me. He's fighting tonight. A lot of fans may not know much about him. What do you expect from him?
Oh, Nick Ball's all action. You know, he's only 5'2". And he's probably the smallest featherweight in the world, fighting the biggest featherweight in the world in Ray Vargas. Vargas has been a bit of an enigma. You know, for a long, long time, I didn't think he looked that great. I had him over in Hull once to fight Gavin McDonnell, where he first won the WBC world title. But he's probably, arguably, #1 in the division right now. Some big wins. It's an awkward style for Nick Ball, but it's an awkward style for Ray Vargas. You're going to be punching down. I mean, this guy is down there. You know, and Nick Ball is relentless. He's really strong. He's got a great work rate. A lot of people stateside think Ray Vargas will be far too skilled for Nick Ball, but a lot of people, especially from Liverpool, think they're going to get a new world champion tonight.
Yeah, but hey, it's Mexico versus Great Britain.
Absolutely.
That hasn't gone in your favor the last couple of years.
Yeah, maybe it's time to change.
Yeah, all right. Other than those fights we've talked about, what are you most excited to see?
You know, Israel Madrimov against Kurbanov. Now for the WBA full super welterweight world championship. These guys have got a chance to put themselves in the fold for all the mega fights. Maybe a Terence Crawford moving up to 154. You've got Tim Tszyu, a champion with a WBO. Israel Madrimov unbeaten in 10. Kurbanov unbeaten in 25. This will be an absolute firefight. And for us, you know, we had Ray Ford win the World Championship last week.
What a moment.
This will be another World Championship to add to the roster. And it's a really tough fight for Israel Madrimov. Be a very tough night's work for both those guys. Look out as well for Justice Huni, our 8-0 heavyweight from Australia, fighting Kevin Lorena. You know, news, of course, Kevin Lorena's mother passed away just 24 hours ago. Our thoughts are with them. He decides to fight in her honour tonight. They're two very fast, light heavyweights. And look out for Gavin Gwynn against Mark Chamberlain as well. It's like an old-school British dust-up. I'll tell you, the card, top to bottom, it's an absolute peach.
Well, hey, we know Buster Douglas lost his mother and what he was able to do with Mike Tyson. We'll see if he's got that fire lit under him as well. Eddie Hearn, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back upstairs to Adeola Depot.
Here we go. Look, we're nearly there now. This is it. We're less than, 5 minutes away from the main card starting. You see that QR code that you're seeing? In order to continue watching what is going to be a ridiculously good night of boxing, scan the QR code and get involved here. This is it now, isn't it?
We've seen that shot so many times, Ngannou landing on Tyson Fury in their fight here 4 months ago. What struck me about that was the exquisite timing. Can he do it again tonight? Look at the logo behind us, beneath us, knockout chaos. Heavyweight boxing, the first punch could be the last. Can't wait.
Can't wait indeed. As I look around at the big screens, the crowd's starting to fill up as well. I mean, you look at the poster, knockout chaos, it's all muscles here, isn't it? Two big boys going to throw down, but it isn't just about the main event as well. The co-main event's a crazy one. And then you got Nick Ball versus Ray Vargas. Honestly, you can't miss this card. I've been itching to get involved in it ever since this card was announced, and we're about to go there. So scan the QR code, because in about 5 minutes, this place is about to erupt, and you don't want to miss it. Mike will be here, I will be here, the whole team will be here. You must make sure you're there as well.
Live on DAZN worldwide, Friday, March 8th. Joshua versus Ngannou. His earthquaking power shocked the world. The left fury floored.
Big shot from Ngannou.
Now back into the ring. He seeks to knock down and knock out. But AJ is back. The pursuit of 3 times world champ is on. It's all to fight for in knockout chaos. Live on DAZN worldwide, Friday, March 8th. Buy now at DAZN.com.